All right. Welcome in, everybody, to the Rant. I'm Pugs Moran, coming to you live from the Kelly Moore Memorial Studios in the beautiful E-Gallery in Dallas's fantastic design district. We do this every day. It's a current events lifestyle show. It's the kind of talk radio that I think we need more of, which is just regular folks getting together, talking about the things that affect us all equally, not utilizing any specific political prism or anything like that, any worldview or ideology. We're just normal people hanging out, because I believe that in this country, we've got a problem. And that problem is that 15% of us, some on the right, 15, are gone forever. Can't work with them. There's 15% of us on the left, also gone forever. Can't work with them. That leaves 70% of us. 70% of us are left. We can do business together. We can run a country. We can maintain our presence as the greatest gift the good Lord ever gave the human race. Sure, I may be overstating it a bit, but you know. So this is talk radio for just normal, regular people, the 70%. And we do it every day, round about noon, today, 12:15. Every day for 3 years. You think this is just a flight of fancy? I'm not going to get addicted to this show. This show's going to be gone in no time. You probably thought that for the first 6 weeks, but here we are 3 years later, every single day, trying to deliver a brand of talk radio that's conversational, connective, the kind of talk radio that I don't think exists anymore. Pretty sure every time I turn on the radio, it's just somebody yelling at me. Now, I will yell. You know this. You know that I can get my hackles up, as they say. What are hackles? Is that like a farming term? I'm from a city. But we have fun. And you also know that I don't present myself as any kind of an expert. And I think that's the big difference. Regular people hashing this out amongst ourselves, right? All right. So since we've got that, I should explain to you what it is you're in for. This is, as I say, a stream of consciousness. A stream of consciousness is, necessity is the mother of invention. So here we are. I'm a one-man band. It's just me and my next thought. The only thing that I can do once we hit go live is essentially say stuff. So to that effect, I work very hard in the morning. All morning long, I go through all the news, all the headlines. I watch the shows. I come up with thoughts. I write it all down. And then at 12, we hit go live and the stream of consciousness begins. No breaks, no stops. No, hey, Marge, what's the weather looking like? We don't do that. It's just me and my thoughts, and you, the chat room. And let's say hello to the chat room, my lovely chat room, my people who are here every single day. It's insane. What's wrong with you people? I mean, we can spend a considerable amount of time trying to figure out what's wrong with me, but... Hi, Christine. Nina's in the chat room. Let's say hi to Nina. We got Jeff here, as always. We got April. We got Mikey D. We got the Sports Bras. We got Cece. Who else do we have? Always. I got to scroll back down. These are just the people. Adam Reyna, first in. Haven't seen Tyranda. She's almost always the first in. We're missing a few of you. We're not going to wait. You know how this works. We just keep going. So hi to the chat room. Thank you so much. Let's see. Do I have any? I'm trying to figure out, do I have any small talk? Well, before I do small talk, I should explain to you. Let's see. What do we need? Here. 4 quarters. Okay. Stream of consciousness. You're probably scared off by that. You're like, Pug, stream of consciousness. You just blabbing? Nah, I don't think so. Here's how I make it something that you might want to consider. I do it in 4 quarters. We break the show down into 4 different segments. Each quarter represents a different kind of rant, okay? 4 quarters. The first one, we call it Antecedently on This Day. We start out the show with this. This is this day in history. That's all. No more, no worse. It's just my spin. I cherry pick the events that have helped us, sort of. I go through history. I like, this is interesting. It happened on this day. Let's talk about it. Quarter 2, birthdays. We know what that is. That's self-explanatory. Explanatory. I'm doing it again. I have this horrible mashup of pronunciations. You know, it's south side of Chicago, right? Then it's just flat Midwestern. Then it's also like there's some Gaelic in there. There's some like words that I pronounce just from being around Irish people. Then I live in the South for the last 20 years. I'm all messed up. That's who I am. I'm an American. Third quarter is deads. First quarter, history. Second quarter, births. So third quarter is deads. Here's where we have fun. We take a look at people who died on this day. Celebrities, historical figures, that kind of thing. And we look at their life's resume and decide where'd they go. Did they go to heaven or did they go to hell upon their death? Heaven or hell, quarter three. Quarter four is the bulk of the show. Quarter four is all the hot topics, current events. We're going to talk about everything. And oh my God, do we got stuff to talk about today. You know me, I'm pretty complicated when it comes to my opinions on Elon Musk. Let's talk about why he had an amazing day yesterday. If we're being honest, even though a lot of his critics, who I often consider myself one of, a lot of his critics are like, he failed. No, we'll talk about that. We got information on the fires. We're going to cover the fires as well. It's what we do in the fourth quarter. It's all the things that are happening. Oh my God, I got a story. Did you see this story? Have you seen it? It was something that went viral last weekend. I saw it and I was like, oh God, this guy. Apparently, if you watch the television series Landman, and who isn't, huh? Especially around here. Everybody's watching Landman. Billy Bob Thornton, John Hamm, Demi Moore, who, let me just tell you, did not see this from 2025. My rekindled affection for Demi Moore. That's a brand new thing as of 2025. So in Landman, oh, hold on a second. I'm sorry. Oh, man. All right, what was I talking about? I just lost the stream of consciousness. I have no idea. All right, moving on. We're going to talk about Elon Musk. We're going to talk about the fire aid. We're going to talk about, I know what I was going to say. Okay, so this story, I want to get into this. We're going to talk about this. This is horrible. This is horrible, man. And what I want to talk about in this story isn't, what happened and, make fun of the guy. I want to talk about his options. There was a story last weekend, and as I said, in the series Landman, they feature a coffee restaurant that all of these oil drillers go to in the morning, and it's a bikini coffee bar, and it's like, I don't know that these things actually exist, although I come to learn they do. Here's my problem with Landman. They are out in the middle of nowhere. Actually, it's not my problem. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, no, this is actually an example of what I've always said to other people not from Texas. My issue with the Landman hot girl bikini coffee bar is that I just, you go, what is this, a small town of like 2,000 people? What are women that look like Maxim cover girls doing in Odessa, Texas, working the 5 a.m. coffee shift? That is not something a girl that looks like that does. She doesn't wake up to do that. So I always had a problem with that. Although, and when I think about it, towns in Texas and Oklahoma, not so much Louisiana, almost exclusively Texas and Oklahoma, small towns. I mean, it's like women 10 times hotter than Marilyn Monroe are working at the Dairy Queen in these. I'm blown away by the endless beauty of women in specifically Texas and Oklahoma. So anyway, there apparently is a real thing where these people, they drive up and they get coffee from a girl in a bikini, and a video went viral of a guy who, couldn't handle that. He couldn't behave himself, and there were some terrible results, and we're going to talk about that story as well. Plus, another thing we want to get into, we're going to do some video breakdown. I saw something last night. I saw something last night on live TV. It happened. Some of you may have been, swept up in it just as I was, because it started to take over on Twitter for about an hour last night, and it was crazy. We got fires going on in Los Angeles, so obviously the authorities are very busy doing things that are extremely important, like, I don't know, saving towns from totally burning to the ground. So, kids are going to do what kids are going to do, and some kids took advantage of the fact that there are no cops anywhere, and you can pretty much speed, and you're not going to get a ticket. Did you guys see the police chase that occurred through Los Angeles last night between two guys on dirt bikes and like every cop in Southern California who wasn't working fire patrol? It was insane. And by the way, when I say two guys on dirt bikes, it didn't stay that way for long. So we're going to break that video down today. So that's going to come in quarter four. All right, small talk segment, a little thing that we do at the top here. It's the first segment of the show. It's where I talk about things that, maybe wouldn't make the cut on a normal show, but there's something there. What do I have for small talk segment? Nothing. There you go. Got nothing for small talk segment. I did have something, but it slipped my mind. This is why it's important to write down the small talk stuff. All right, let's get started. It is the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. Welcome the 17th day of January, year of our Lord, 2025. There are 348 days remaining until the end of the year. 17th of January is the 17th day of the year. Pretty cool. All right, quarter one, antecedently on this day. Antecedently, a look back at all the events that have helped shape our understanding of this day throughout history. You might have heard it this morning on your drive in. Every morning show does a version of this, but I do it better. Here we go. Antecedently on this day. Year of our Lord, 1917. The United States pays Denmark $25 million for the Virgin Islands. Hey, hey. $25 million. I bet it would have been cheaper had she not been a virgin. I just came up with that. And it's probably true. Antecedently on this day in 1920, alcohol prohibition begins in the United States. The Volstead Act. The Volstead Act goes into effect. This is a good example of something that's politically lessons learned. You know, this isn't a political show. I don't like to talk politics. I don't care how you voted. You don't know how I voted. I won't ever tell. And it doesn't matter. Let's just be people. But politically, it's always been said that you cannot take something away from the American people. And one of the great arguments here is prohibition, the Volstead Act. The Volstead Act, people could drink. People were like, alcohol is, culturally speaking, I mean, if we are going to embrace the idea of melting pot, and back then, you know, I think maybe we were. Or maybe now, maybe 1920 is when they first started going, you know, this melting pot business, I don't like all these people that, you know, make food that smells weird. You know, that maybe by 1920, that was beginning to creep in. But culturally, the Irish, they drank. The Italians, they drank. The French, they drank. Europeans drank. You know who didn't drink? American WASPs, Protestants, the Pilgrims, the people who came here because they weren't allowed to dance in Liverpool or whatever. So prohibition came into effect. They took it away from the American people, and everybody went, no, created nothing but problems. So there you have it. Supposed to not take anything away from the American people. They may complain about it when they have it, but take it away from them. That was on this day, 1920. The Volstead Act goes into effect. On this day in 1961, U.S. President Dwight David Eisenhower delivers his farewell address to the nation, where he says those words that have resonated for decades since. He warns against the accumulation of power by the, quote, military-industrial complex, as well as the dangers of massive spending, especially during deficits. So, you know my take on this. We are a militaristic nation. We have the number one defense. You know, I tongue-in-cheekily say, we had opportunities to be different. We had opportunities to be Norway or Sweden or whatever. We didn't want it. We are a democracy. We chose to not really worry all that much about medical stuff and not really worry all that much about, you know, giving really great educations. But we got the military. I mean, we're the world's bouncer. That's our job. That's who we are. That's what we signed up for. And I don't know if, you know, if you were to wipe the slate clean and say, hey, let's make this decision again, if I'd say, let's be the world's bouncer. I don't know that I'd go for it. But the reality is that's what we are. It's what we are. Ship has sailed. People want to go back and clutch pearls and pretend like we're the country they want us to be, when in fact, we are the country we are. We got to learn to love it for all of its warts and pimples, as well as its greatness. Here I go. I hate this. I hate being an embattled patriot. I despise it. Got a flag. So anyway, we got this military, and it was on this day that Eisenhower, a general, a guy who ran the European theater, a guy who won World War II. Let's be honest. It's how he became president. Eisenhower, a hawk, looked at the American people and said, we're spending way too much on defense, man. I mean, there's all this stuff going on. Defense industries have way too much power. A general said that. A general. Probably the last time an American politician was completely honest with us. Eisenhower on this day, vast military industrial complex. And he was right. And we have that. And we've had that now for a while. So this is who we are. So instead of pearl clutchings, let's lean into it. Let's lean into it. Besides, as I say, you think I'm just very frivolous about this? I've got a 15-year-old son. I got a 15-year-old kid. You don't think I'm worried about, having hawkish tendencies? Of course I am. With that said, I think it's all going to be fought with drones and robots. So, my kid can program a robot. How about that? From Santa Monica or wherever. I don't know. Antecedently on this day in 1991, Gulf War Operation Desert Storm begins early in the morning as aircraft strike opposing positions across Iraq. This was cool, man. This was feel good. This was, what I'm just saying here, what I'm saying about how we're the world's bouncers. Okay, so this is an indication of when we acted as the world's bouncer. Iraq did something that was wrong. They just rolled over the borders into Kuwait. And if you remember, because this was important to me, I was in college and I was working in media in college. So this was like one of the first stories that I ever had to take seriously. And, so I remember it was initially called Desert Shield. Remember Desert Shield? And what Desert Shield was, this massive buildup of American and Allied troops right there in the desert surrounding Kuwait, which had been, and Iraq. It was Iraq. It was somewhere in Kuwait because we were trying to get out. But the point is this. We showed up. The United States of America. Saddam did what he did. The United States was like, shouldn't have done that. And then Kuwait was like, we're calling America. You do that. No, you better not do that. We're calling America. And Kuwait called America. America showed up. And we're like, what's going on? And there was like this couple week period where it was what's going on here? What's the story? Saddam, what are you doing? Why you being a dick, Saddam? It was like that whole thing. And that was Desert Shield. And then on this morning in 1991, Desert Shield became Desert Storm. All right, well, that's stuck. Hold on, got to do this thing. Always have to do this. Hold on. Oh, yeah. All right, we're back. There we go. Sorry about that. Kelly, what do I tell you? This is my partner, Kelly. For some reason, she is screwing with me today. Look at what just happened. Look at what just happened. So the Zoom box goes fritzy for no reason. Okay, it just starts going, ha ha ha, I'm not going to stop playing this. And then once I get that up, my thing pops off. Now I know it pops. It's never popped off. It doesn't pop off. I tighten it all the time because for some reason I come in there every morning and it's not tight anymore. I'm telling you, this is my dead partner, Kelly. You can't hear me? You guys didn't hear any of that? You didn't hear any of that rant? Fuck you, Kelly Moore. There you go. There you go. You didn't hear any of that rant? All right, now that I'm calm. By the way, I hope that was entertaining. I hope now you can at least watch it with the sound off and go, oh, I know he's ranting on his partner who just up and died. And she's a poltergeist. She has told me time and time again that, and we talked a lot about death over the years of working together. She's like, if I die, I just want you to know two things. I'm going to watch you shower, which is a real problem for me. It's why I haven't, been bathing regularly since she died. No, I'm kidding. She's going to watch me shower. And then Kelly also said, and this was regular from her, she said she'd like to see how to become a poltergeist. If ghosting is possible for her in the afterlife, she would really enjoy being a poltergeist. And these are the times when she would, watch me shower. And also she would just make things inconvenient. Now, at the time, she said she would hide my keys in the remote to the TV. Well, that's an ever ongoing thing for me. So I can't really ascribe my daily loss of remote control to her. But other things have happened. Other things, I've talked about it, every time something stupid happens, like a hinge, like I open up a cabinet in this beautiful place that I'm living in, expensive, beautiful place. I open up a cabinet, it comes right off the hinge. Three times since she passed away, that has happened. Garage door? That thing's got a mind of its own. That thing, the garage door, if I'm in a hurry, this is how it works. If I'm in a hurry and I hit the garage door and and it goes down, as I'm backing up, I'll catch it out of my periphery. It goes right back up. I'm like, what are you doing? So she has created a situation now where every time I close the garage door, I have to sit there for like 30 seconds to make sure that it stays. Thanks, Kelly. And then you just witnessed the last 10 minutes of this show. First of all, she makes my Zoom box the thing. That's why we had to go silent for a couple of minutes, because all of a sudden, out of nowhere, for no reason, the Zoom box turned off. It's plugged in. There's no reason for it to just turn off and need to be powered back on and all that stuff. No, but that's just her fucking with me. She's like, ha. Then I fix the Zoom box, and then I come right back on. And I start ranting about everything that I just ranted about there. And the microphone explodes in my hand. I tighten this thing every day, and I know it's one of my things. That's why I tighten it obsessively. every day. Oh, that Kelly, she's a poltergeist. And as I say that, the whole thing, the thing pops off. It was screwed in tight. Before I started today, I go like this every day before each show. I screw it in tight. It just pops off. So there you have it. I'm getting a little tired of this, Kelly. Although, it could be worse. So it's nice to have you around. There you go. All right. So is the live feed not working? Are we having a problem? I need the chat room to tell me right now what the problem is, because we'll just restart the show. Thanks, Kelly. There has been no action in the chat room for like 5 minutes, which leads me to believe that maybe we have a problem. Big mic ain't working. This mic ain't working? Yes, it is. This mic is not working. Fuck! All right, we got to stop the show. We're going to restart the show. We're going to restart the show. Hold on. Yep. Zoom microphone. Microphone. There we go. All right. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold on a second. So this is the mic. Okay, so this mic is working. I'm sorry. We're having some problems. Okay. Well, I don't know, fellas and ladies. What do you think? That's it? Leslie's like, that's it. It's working. It's working now. I require you guys in the chat room to tell me when it's back to normal. So thank you so much. I hear it moving. Oh, okay. See, now I'm reacting to your comments in the chat room that are 30 seconds ago. I hate that. I hate that aspect of this. Thank you, Nina. I can read your text in the chat room fine, too. Thank you. It's all about levels, Frankie B says. All right, so now we've gotten through this. So Kelly is screwing with the show today, and we're going to try and move forward. Taronda's here. Taronda, thank you for making yourself known, girl. All right. Where were we? We were just talking about antecedently on this day, right? Okay, so we were, where did we leave off at? By the way, a lot of pretty big things. Operation Desert Storm started on this day. Antecedently on this day in 1994, the Northridge earthquake. That's a 6.7 earthquake in greater Los Angeles. It says a maximum Mercalli intensity, I don't know what that is, of 9, which means violent. 57 people died, 8,700 were injured. That's, didn't a freeway collapse here? Northridge earthquake, 1994. Northridge had like a good early, or not a good, but a famous, a notorious, let's say, mid 90s. Wasn't there also the Northridge bank robbery? Wasn't that the big Northridge shootout? Or is that West Hollywood? Maybe is Northridge near West Hollywood? Let's say it is. Okay, there you have it. That's all we need there. Antecedently on this day in 1998, the Clinton-Lewinsky scandal. Matt Drudge breaks the story of the Bill Clinton-Monica Lewinsky affair on his Drudge Report website. Man, that was a major. I'm not speaking on that scandal, and I'm not speaking on Matt Drudge individually, but that was a major moment for internet media. That was until this moment, 1998, when the Drudge Report, which nobody had ever heard of. Nobody had ever heard of the Drudge Report before this. Drudge Report posted this story, the blue dress story and all that. And all of a sudden, the media took this story seriously, and it turned out to be true. And even though it came from the internet, we still hear that sometimes. And I'm always like, what are you talking about? Back before... Well, let's just say back in this time. So around 1998, 99, 2000, 2001, 2002, 2003, all the way through to probably about 2005, something that was programmed into everyone totally programmed into everyone was, where'd you hear that? The internet? Heard that on the internet. If something was reported on the internet, it was automatically dismissed out of hand until this day. Till this day, 1998, Drudge Report. And all of a sudden, everybody's quoting an internet source, which they'd never done before. A big moment. I still think it's funny when people are like, oh, what'd you get that on the internet? Yeah, you mean the Globe's #1 source for information? That's all BS. No, there's a lot of BS on the internet. Whole corners of the internet just swimming in BS. But also, if you're astute, you can find real stuff. You know where to look. So it's kind of like how radio dudes, and I was one of them. In the early days of podcasting, like radio dudes who were in broadcast radio. We were all like, hey, your so-and-so got fired? Yeah, hey, let him go do a podcast. Podcast. Podcasting absolutely destroyed broadcast radio, and now people doing podcasting who wouldn't even pick up the phone if radio called them. I'm not one of them, by the way, just so we know. I'm still in this for one thing: corporate health insurance. That's the only reason. Clinton Lewinsky scandal broke on Drudge on this day. 1998. On this day in 2013, Lance Armstrong admitted that he did the whole boy, oh boy. He went on Oprah, Lance Armstrong. 2013. I don't know. I mean, I don't know that he's #1. I mean, I still think that, I have my Great American Falls from Grace list, and it's still Cosby. Cosby is still #1. I mean, unless those rumors about Tom Hanks and Steven Spielberg turn out to be true, then, but no, Cosby's #1. OJ is up there in the Great American Fall from Graces. I wouldn't put anybody like Harvey Weinstein on there because he was never graceful. He was always just a big thug. But Cosby was an American icon, right? He was important to a lot of. He represented something on television in the 1980s, and he absolutely dominated. And to find out that he's one of America's finest serial rapists, it's a little distressing. So that's a huge fall from grace. O.J. Simpson, another great example. Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong was the cancer guy. Who had a more unifying message than let's get behind and let's all support and show love and all this for people with cancer, the Live Strong trend. Right? Everybody had a yellow Live Strong. And then other things got involved. And then pretty soon people are walking around with like purple things. Like, what is that one for? High blood pressure. Oh, okay. Yeah, Lance Armstrong, man. He was a god. He was a god. He was a prince of America. And then he goes on Oprah and he's like, I cheated and you got me. And everybody's like, you suck now. So that's where we are with Lance Armstrong. Lance Armstrong went to my kid's high school. That's right. For a period of time. Didn't graduate from there for a period of time. There you go. 2013, Lance Armstrong. All right, let's move on to birthdays. Q2. Let's talk about people who were born on this day. This is a big day for birthdays. We don't really, here's what I do. A lot of people having birthdays. Here's other ones I think are interesting. I can riff on them a little bit. We move on. Born on this day, 1706, a real baller. I've yet to see him. Why is there no movie about this guy? Let's get Russell Crowe to dress up like this guy. Why has there never been a truly great biography? Maybe there has been. Miniseries? What, Netflix can't do something? Max can't do something? There has never been a truly great biography on the man who I consider to be the quintessential American. I need my Ben Franklin movie. I need to really see a deep dive into who Ben Franklin was, because that so much was fascinating. He was a truly, truly important American, probably in its time. No, he was a power broker, right? I mean, all these other people that Jefferson, Washington, all of this stuff, all of these people that we remember with greater esteem than Franklin, because Franklin was never a president. But he was the power broker behind all of those guys. Franklin was the dude who, what do you want to make your Wizard of Oz sort of analogies? He was the man behind the curtain. Ben Franklin, born on this day in 1706. He's a baller. Born on this day in 1899. Not so much a baller, but an interesting guy. People who don't know this guy, people who do not know anything about this guy, would probably put him in a category with the likes of Pablo Escobar, people like that. Bad people. But the legend of this man is far greater than whatever his public persona is. And I can tell you, growing up on the south side of Chicago, Al Capone is not a negative figure. Al Capone, my grandpa used to tell me Al Capone stories. Apparently, he grew up in the neighborhood where Al Capone lived. Al Capone lived like a couple blocks away or something like that. And I remember him telling me once, and I may not have the details because, you hear these stories from your grandparents when you're like 10, 11, or 12 or something. But I remember my grandpa telling me a story about how Capone's boys wanted to, maybe it was during Prohibition. I don't know, the early days, whatever it was. My grandpa was a milkman. He was in the milk business. And one of the things you needed in the milk business was a refrigerated truck. And that was something that in 1925 or 30 or whatever it was, 35, 40, whatever, I don't know. Whatever, it wasn't something that was easy to come by. So my grandpa told me a story about how the guys, Capone's guys, wanted to buy him a milk truck. And they wanted a refrigerated truck, which he could use during the day for milk deliveries, but then it would be used at night for like illegal booze runs or beer or something like that. I don't know. He said no. And he lived another 80 years. So, no, my grandpa had nothing, like he didn't know. He couldn't, although I think that's another story. I think my grandpa might be someone who told me a story about when I was a little kid. Al Capone used to give us candy because, he was like the big dude in the neighborhood. I don't know. All I'm saying is that, believe it or not, but Al Capone was considered a nice dude. He was considered a good dude by a lot of people. Not this evil monster that the federal government made him out to be. Born on this day in 1899, Alphonse Capone, American mob boss, founder of one of my favorite genres of study, founder of the Chicago outfit. I love the outfit stories. The outfit, that's the crime family in Chicago. So New York's got their 5 families and they battle over all the territory of New York. Chicago had 2 and then they had 1 because Capone was like, yeah, that other guy's got to go. And Capone took over. He created a thing called the outfit. And it's just fascinating. It's just the history of the outfit. Casino. If you've ever seen the movie Casino, that's the outfit. That was them. There's never been a really great outfit movie. And I've always thought that I would love to be a part of creating a Sopranos-like series on the history of the Chicago outfit. And it would just be called The Outfit. And I know where I would start it with, and I know where I would end it with. I would start it with the murder of Sam Giancana in his Oak Park. Sam Giancana was a dude, he was the most powerful mobster in America, 1970-something. He was working... I don't need to tell you about Sam Giancana. He's famous. But he had this little apartment in Oak Park, Illinois. And one morning he was making breakfast and some dude just walked in and put a bullet in the back of his head. And that's like when everything went off the rails for the Chicago outfit. The next 20 years was investigations and prison murders and, the Spilotro murders, which is the Joe Pesci character from Casino, in Casino where they take him out in the field and they beat him. Yeah, that's Tony Spilotro. That's a real story. That's who he played. Anyway, on this day, Alphonse Capone, born 1899. I'm not a fanboy, but I'm fascinated by what he built. Born on this day in 1922. You're going to make me talk about my great American frauds? No, I'm not going to do it. She's not a great American fraud. She is not a great American fraud. I refuse that. Okay? She's not that bad. But there is some fraudulence going on when we talk about our birthday girl, born on this day in 1922, Betty White. Betty White, born on this day in 1922. She's not a fraud because I love her. I mean, I understand why people love Betty White. Loved Betty White. I get it. But there's some revisionist history going on here. Like, you hear people talking about Betty White And they're like, she's been an icon for decades. Dude, she couldn't get work in the 70s and 80s. Stop like she was an icon. She was on game show panels, okay? That's who Betty White is. People in 2025, now that she's dead, they talk like there's no difference between Betty White and Betty Davis. And I'm telling you, there's a massive difference, okay? Betty White was a TV star who she's not Mary Tyler Moore. She never had her own show. Well, actually, she did. She had the Betty White show. And nobody watched it. And it failed. And that's why she's not Lucy. She's not Mary Tyler Moore. She's not even Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She bounced around on sitcoms for a number of years, was wonderful in each and every one. But she was never the star, okay? Here's how Betty White suddenly became a star. Because the internet. Thank you, Childish. Betty White, it was a joke about 15 years ago. They put out there on Saturday Night Live was like, who would you like to see host? And as an internet joke, people were like, Betty White! Because she was an old lady who had recently had a bit of a comeback when Sandra Bullock cast her in a movie. I don't even remember what movie that was. But she's great in it because Betty White is great. And everybody loves Betty White. So the internet gets a hold of this. Let's make Betty White a host of Saturday Night Live. And she just exploded from there. It's the last 15 years of her life that people were actually like, she's beautiful. Because for the previous 50, she was just that chick who played that girl in that thing. Millennials. I know Golden Girls, but Golden Girls was a sitcom. Okay? Golden Girls was a sitcom that it wasn't a smash hit. Golden Girls made money consistently because it tapped into an audience that was almost entirely ignored at that time in American television. Who's that? Old people. Golden Girls was for old people. It was a show, and here's how it survived and why it won't be remembered, why it'll be completely forgotten once one more generation plays its cards. Golden Girls was a show that millennials were exposed to because it was on Saturday when their parents dumped them at their grandparents. Millennials at 8, 9, 10, 11 years old now in 2025 act like Golden Girls was the Mary Tyler Moore show because there is a sentimental attachment to what you remember about it. And the people you probably watched it with who are dead now. That's why I consider Betty White to be slightly fraudulent, although we still love her. So let's move on. Born on this day in 1922, the great Betty White. Born on this day in 1931, James Earl Jones. Now he's a real one. James Earl Jones is awesome. He's a legit Darth Vader. Screw you, get out of here. Get talk smack on James Earl. He's Darth Vader. What else did he do? Oh, Google him. James Earl Jones. Born on this day in 1931. Whew, it just keeps getting bigger. Dude, I'm telling you, we are on a run now of birthdays. Al Capone, Betty White, James Earl Jones. How about born on this day in 1942? The greatest, Muhammad Ali. It's Muhammad Ali's birthday. American boxer, activist, died in 2016. Ali. My entire life growing up, well, as a kid growing up, man, he was one of them Gen X masculine alphas that we looked at, or at least I did, my generation. I had, I always like that joke. I always say we had three Gen X boys had three undisputable masculine role models in Muhammad Ali, Evel Knievel, and Bruce Jenner. That's right. That's why Gen X is so screwed up. And that was really it. Bruce Jenner was the greatest athlete alive. When I was 10 years old, Bruce Jenner was the greatest athlete alive. He's the epitome of the American dominant athlete. A decathlon winner, my God. Muhammad Ali, Evel Knievel, those were our guys. Muhammad Ali, born on this day in 1942. Happy birthday, the great one. The great one, that's Gleason. He's the greatest. Sorry, got to get these right. How about this one here? There's another one. I mean, we talk about names of significance. Born on this day, the 17th of January. Born on this day in 1954, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Robert Kennedy Jr. Born on this day. Definitely a guy that everybody talks about now from the Kennedy family, RFK Jr. I just want to, can I just slow clap for RFK Jr.? Watch this. I want to slow clap. Why am I slow clapping for Robert Kennedy Jr.? We go through this a lot. People don't know how to do this. People are doing it wrong. They're doing it wrong, and doing it wrong is becoming normalized, and that's how doing it wrong becomes doing it right. And there has to be a reason for things. That's why you do things a certain way. There is a reason that we do it this way. Robert Kennedy Jr. walks around life with a really famous high-dollar name, Robert F. Kennedy. But he ain't Robert F. Kennedy. The Robert F. Kennedy that we immediately think of is the guy who was gunned down in the L.A. Hilton Hotel while running for president in 1968. He is Robert F. Kennedy. He had a kid who then later in life went on to do some things of significance. So his name was being mentioned, and there's got to be a way to make a distinction. So at that point, we started referring to the long dead father as senior, and only then. It's a distinction. Junior and senior is a distinction. These pro ball players who are 22-year-old guys who are now running around on the field with senior on the back of their names drives me insane. Do you think that Bobby Kennedy, the president's brother, the one who got gunned down, the one assassinated, do you think Bobby Kennedy was going around going, yeah, Bobby Kennedy Sr., because I got a 5-year-old that nobody knows, but he's my junior, so I'm going as senior now? No! There is no reason to ever be a senior. There is a reason to be a junior. The junior is distinguishing himself from the accomplishments of the father who he shares a name with. That's why there's a junior. And the only time a senior is called a senior is when you're talking about the junior and making sure that there is a distinction being made. Oh my God! So congratulations, Bobby Kennedy Jr. for doing it right. Born on this day in 1954. Born on this day in 1962. Here's another one, the King of Canada, Jim Carrey. All righty then. I like Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey's weird though, man. Jim Carrey's weird. Jim Carrey's always been weird. We gave Jim Carrey 15 years in the mainstream. I'd say that's about the time we gave him. Because in the beginning, Jim Carrey was the most wild, weird, off-the-wall, strange. Don't want to be alone with him. He's bizarre. He could do anything. So that was like the first part of his career. Super talented. Let's tap into him. Let's do all the A's. Then for about 15 years, he became normal. 15 years, he started getting real roles. He was acting and he's being a normal person. And then like the last 10 years, have you seen him? He is, Jim Carrey's wild, man. He's out there making some decisions. I don't know. I like him though. Super talent. But as I always say, I think Jim Carrey is absolutely a comedic genius. He's able to do things with the comedy genre that just other people, hacks like myself, can try and step into and be like, I'm going to be funny now, but it's never as good. It's never as memorable because we're not geniuses. Jim Carrey is. And with genius comes a whole lot of super irritating character traits. So he's out there. He's weird. Jim Carrey. Let's see here. Born on this day in 1962. All right, look at this, man. Al Capone, Betty White, James Earl Jones, Muhammad Ali, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Jim Carrey. How about born on this day in 1964? Southside Michelle Obama, former First Lady of these here United States. 1964. Born on this day in 1971, Little John. I don't know what to say about Little John. Little John. He was, middle off. Born on this day in 1971, same thing. Kid Rock, got nothing. Kid Rock, bow with a bow. That song's a banger. That's all I could say. Born on this day in 1980. How about Zooey Deschanel? Zooey Deschanel. Where are you from? Iowa? That's a stupid name. You should be like from, Paris or something with a name like Zooey Deschanel. And don't you have a sister too? Don't you have a sister that looks weirdly like her who's not quite as famous? Who's her sister? She's got a sister like Zooey Deschanel. I think she does movies, right? And she like the movie one, or she's like the more important one. But then there's another Deschanel sister who's like on a show I've never seen. Like she's on a show like I don't know, Scranton CSI or something. She's on some show like that. I don't know. Born on this day in 1980, Zooey Deschanel. Born on this day in 1982, Dwayne Wade. Southside. That's what I'm mentioning all of them. Born on this day in 1997, Jake Paul. All right, there we go. We don't need to do anything more there. Jake Paul. We get it. All right, let's go into the deads. These are people who have passed away on this day. We're going to talk a little bit about what they contributed and where they went, heaven or hell. Dead on this day, 1893. Another one of these spare presidents, Rutherford B. Hayes, American general, lawyer, and politician. He was the 19th president of these here United States. He's going to hell. He's going to hell because he's got a couple of rules. When we do the dead segment, if I don't know anything about you, like if I'm like, I don't really know anything about that person, but you are a person of significance that needs to be mentioned, I'll just be like, what do they do for a living? And so there are certain jobs that's all I need to know. Politician, you go to hell. I don't care. Few exceptions, right? I think I put Lincoln in heaven. I think I put Paul Simon from Illinois in heaven. And that's it. That's all that gets in. A Republican and a Democrat. That's it. One Republican, one Democrat. All their politicians go to hell. So sorry, Rutherford B. Hayes. Right now, close your eyes. Close your eyes. Rutherford B. Hayes. You know what he looks like? No. You don't know what he looks like. I think he looks like Grant. I don't know. I could look him up, but I think he looks like Grant. I think he's one of the bearded guys. Back when we were allowing people with facial hair to be important. We don't do that anymore. Now they're all sketchy. Everybody with a beard is sketchy. What did he do? Can you name one thing that President Rutherford B. I'll stop you here. You can't, because nobody knows what Rutherford B. Hayes did. Anyway, he's in hell because he was a politician. Dead on this day in 1893. Dead on this day in 2011. Don Kirshner. Don Kirshner, American songwriter, producer, record company executive. Don Kirshner is one of these guys. Well, you may know him from Don Kirshner's Rock Show, which was an early 1970s, maybe even starting in the 60s. I don't know. I think it's 70s. I think it's definitely 70s, mid 70s. So a late night show. I don't know if it was syndicated or if it was on a network. I don't know if networks did late night programming to that extent. Maybe they did. Maybe it was CBS. It's not the same thing as Midnight Special, right? Midnight Special was a different one. But Don Kirshner, you know what? Here we go. Let me just tell you. Because he was a very awkward guy, but also he definitely had like stripes in music. So there was a reason for him to be behind this. And there was a reason to like take his music stuff seriously. But he also wanted to be, like on camera and stuff. So Don Kirshner was the host of this. And it was very weird because it was like, this is this counterculture rock show. And why is it being hosted by my dad's accountant? Because that's what he looked like. Don Kirshner was an American music publisher, music consultant, rock music producer, talent manager, songwriter. Dubbed the man with the golden ear by Time magazine, he was best known for managing songwriting talents as well as successful pop groups such as the Monkees, Kansas, and the Archies. There you go. Don Kirshner's gone to hell. Record business? Are you kidding me? He was a record company executive in the 1960s and 70s. That, my friend... No way. No way. You're going to hell. All right, guys, that's going to do it. That's going to do it for the first four. What do we call it? The first three quarters of the show. We're now in the fourth quarter. This is where we talk about all the hot topics, current events, all of that good stuff. We do this show every day, Monday through Friday, around about noon, unless, of course, something gets in the way. We missed a show. Was it yesterday that we missed a show? I believe it was. So I apologize for that. But we did an extra show on Wednesday. We did Pugs and Parker on Wednesday night. You can check that out. You can find it all just by going to the, Pugs and Company. Follow me. Follow Pugs and Company on Facebook. Follow Pugs and Company on YouTube. Follow Pugs and Company anywhere that you can. Or just Pugs Moran. And I'll give you content from every now and again, right? All right, so you're here, and we want to talk about the day. We want to talk about the current events that are happening right now. All right, let's go. Let's run through these, because I got some stuff that I really want to sink my teeth into. All right, first and foremost, the big story. Supreme Court had a decision today on TikTok. TikTok is supposed to go away. Possibly Sunday is, the day, D-Day. So if you remember, and this is, okay, so let me just timeline of TikTok. Trump tweeted something a long time ago about TikTok, China, whatever. That got all of his minions stirred up. TikTok, China, TikTok, China. All right, so that happened. And then And then Congress and everybody that got together, they're like, TikTok, China, bad. And so then we're all told TikTok's going away. Which, by the way, I want to be consistent on this. I don't know if TikTok should go away, but I've said from the beginning, since I've gotten involved with TikTok, my life, I don't know if it's better or worse, but I know that great chunks of time have been now accounted for in ways that were less than productive. TikTok is so addictive. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll be in there for, a normal person, be in the bathroom 5-10 minutes, maybe depending on the situation or the age. I'll be in there 5-10 minutes. Now I'm in the TikTok 45 minutes. My legs are falling asleep because of TikTok. It is highly addictive. It is that constant refreshing of the endorphin boost in your brain. You flip, it's like 3-second videos. It's like, okay, this video, oh, that puppy is so cute. That feels good. And look, this is all happening in the subconscious. It's not something that you're aware of happening. But all right, then you flip to the next one. It's like, oh my God, that guy is funny. I can't put it down. I'm chasing the next endorphin release from something that just momentarily triggers me. That's why TikTok is dangerous. That's why. But I don't know what we can do about that. I don't know about the Chinese stuff. I'm not that smart. But there should be some moderation by parents about their children's use of TikTok. I say with tongue firmly in cheek as the parent of a 15-year-old who has zero control. The autonomy the teenagers have these days simply because of the ease of communication, because of digital and cellular and cellular. What I'm saying is, kids got to have a phone, right? How many parents have been like, I'm going to take the phone away from my kid? You take the phone away from him for what, 5 hours? And then you're like, my kid needs a phone. I need to be able to contact him. He can't go out without his phone, because that's how we're programmed now. And I know I feel the same way. I want my kid to have his phone. Taking the phone away from the kid is not an option, because the phone actually does provide some form of security and comfort to the parents when they know that they can reach it. So taking the phone away is a non-starter for a lot of us. What are you supposed to do? Block the shit? Do you get a kid a jitterbug? Those jitterbug phones for like old people? That was a brilliant idea, by the way. I remember the first time I saw a jitterbug commercial. I'm like, smartphones for old people. This is brilliant. Because this was like 5 years ago. We got a whole bunch of old people. Not as many anymore. It's been 5 years. The nature of the beast and all. All right. So TikTok could go away on Sunday because the Supreme Court sat down today and they issued their ruling on whether or not this thing that Congress voted on. Remember, it started because Trump said something bad about it. Then everybody went, yeah. And then suddenly it's a thing. And now they're banning it. And they did ban it. And now TikTok is going, ByteDance, that's the parent company. They're going, ByteDance, we can't just sell. This is unconstitutional. And we're like, too bad you're Chinese. So we ordered them to sell. They had a year to sell. ByteDance, the Chinese parent company, had a year to sell and stay on. And they haven't sold. They haven't sold to anybody. And now the deadline is, I guess, Sunday, where TikTok has to be gone from America, becomes an illegal site. And the Supreme Court issued their decision today, their last-minute decision. And the Supreme Court says, not our problem. We're not involved. So TikTok's gone away Sunday. At least that's the way it looks. It's the way it's been explained to me. ByteDance must divest now by Sunday for it not to go away. And there's a number of people who are lining up. They want to buy it. I don't understand. And again, this could be because, I'm not a PhD or a college professor. I'm like you, just a regular person who seems to be taking pretty good notes on the world in front of me. Why can't an American company just create a TikTok? I don't understand why can't we just ban that and then come up with an American version of it? Microsoft can't do, Apple can't do that. Meta, Zuckerberg, he can't do this. You can't just Pugs, that would be stealing proprietary. Too bad. Again, we're America. I think we're just going to do what we want. And you know what? It solves a lot of problems for us. Why do we care about stealing money from the Chinese? Just steal their idea, create a new TikTok, I don't know, call it the TikTok dough. No, that would be stupid. Look, it's not my department to come up with the branding. But just have an American come up with something and we'll all move over. And if it's the exact same thing, you don't have to worry about Chinese interests being able to data farm all of our kids' information. And again, my 15-year-old, I have no idea what China's going to glean from my 15-year-old in North Texas. Not a clue. I'll tell you, China's probably going to really have a firm understanding of what my son thinks is the best course of action for both the Cowboys draft and the Bears draft, because I know he's constantly obsessing on that online and on TikTok. So there you go, China. Do with that what you please. Let's see here. Here's more breaking news. This is interesting. The inauguration. Again, there's that weird mashup that I have here. Not only do I have a subpar voice, but the way I pronounce things is screwed up because of the places I've lived that all have distinct accents. Now we got this. Inauguration. I've never lived in Long Island. Where did that come from? Inauguration for Trump on Monday, the 20th, has been moved inside. I don't have any more information. I don't know, like moved inside where? They got an indoor stadium. It's Washington, D.C. I'm sure they got an indoor stadium or something. I don't know. I don't know where it's being moved inside to. I have no clue. The Capitol? Wouldn't that be, there you go. Let's do it. Move it inside to the Capitol. Is it going to be like at a stadium? Do you guys know, chat room? All right, help us out. Anyway, there you go. The inauguration on Monday has been moved inside. Let's talk a little bit about the fires as the winds in Southern California has eased now for the second straight day. More winds are coming because it is winter, and these Santa Ana winds, they keep coming. The Eaton fire and the Palisades fire are still burning out of control. Big. I don't even know. Out of control. I don't know what out of control is. It looks aren't all fires out of control until they're out? I mean, so whatever. Still a number of fires. It is still happening. It is still still really bad. It's just we're not hearing the urgency of coverage because, that's been 2 weeks now. And this is what we do. Need I remind you, we have no answers on those New Jersey drones. We just stopped thinking about it. And the fires are going to do what the fires are going to do. To that end, the other day I was telling you about Fire Aid. Irving Azoff, right? And he, the guy Irving Azoff, the legendary Hollywood music impresario. We talked about his Fire Aid concert, which will be 30th, January the 30th. Live from LA, which is like, really? How many police are going to have to be deployed to this? All I'm saying is, okay, you're doing it in LA. There is some snipiness. You'd be like, maybe right now this isn't the time for an LA distraction, but okay. We talked about it on the first day when it was revealed that a weird group, remember a weird hodgepodge group of performers were expected to appear. Harry Styles, Earth, Wind, and Fire, the Eagles, right? It was the Eagles, Harry Styles, and Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I was like, that's weird. That's got to be more, right? There's got to be more to the bill. Well, ladies and gentlemen, holy cow. Fire Aid, or I guess I can't call it Fire Fest. Fire Aid or whatever it is has exploded, man. It is, So we've got a new list of people slated to appear for Fire Aid, a concert like the concert for New York that was held in the weeks following 9/11. This is the LA version, Fire Aid. Here are some of the names that have been added to it. Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Jelly Roll, Lil Baby, have been added to perform at Fire Aid benefit concert for LA wildfire victims. Here's some more people performing. Okay, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga. Let's start with Harry Styles, the Eagles, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Billie Eilish, Lady Gaga, Jelly Roll, Little Baby, Tate McRae, Gwen Stefani, and Katy Perry, along with John Mayer and Dave Matthews. That's pretty good. Are there more? Hold on. I think there are more names. Billie Eilish, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Gracie Abrams, Green Day. Oh, okay. Here's the full list. Billie Eilish, Earth, Wind, and Fire, Gracie Abrams, Green Day, Gwen Stefani, Jelly Roll, Joni Mitchell, Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, Little Baby, Pink, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Rod Stewart, Sting, Stephen Stills, Stevie Nicks, and Tate McRae are set to perform at Fire Aid, the upcoming benefit concert in the wake of the devastating Los Angeles wildfires. Also taking the stage for the first time ever. This can't be the first time. First time ever? I thought they put... Oh, never mind. I'm confused. Dave Matthews playing with John Mayer. All right, there you go. More acts and special guests will be confirmed in the coming days. The show was originally slated for the Intuit Dome on January 30th, but will now also include nearby Inglewood venue, The Forum. So it's going to be going on at 2 different locations. Okay, that's interesting. Fire Aid was initially announced last week. Blah, blah, blah. Let's see. Live Nation, AEG, and the Azoff Company have partnered with the Clippers home in Inglewood to host the benefit show, described as an evening of music and solidarity. The concerts will be broadcast. All right, so how are you going to see it, right? Because that's what determines whether or not this is truly something big and historic. Are giant platforms giving their time and platform away for free for this? If you remember, the Concert of New York, I believe, was carried on a number of stations. Like, it was one of those things where if you were just scrolling through your cable channels, like every third channel had this on. So how's that going to look now? We don't do that anymore. We don't channel surf. So what's it going to look like? Okay. You're not going to have any problem watching Fire Aid. Everybody is airing it. Everybody. Here's what we got, okay? The concerts will be broadcast in theaters. Select AMC theaters will hold events for the concert. Apple TV. If you have Apple TV, they will be airing the concert. If you have Max, HBO Max, they will be airing the concert. If you have Netflix, they will be airing the concert. If you have Prime Video, they will be airing the concert. If you Twitch will be airing the concert. Spotify, Sirius, SoundCloud, and YouTube will all be airing the concert live and free. It doesn't say anything about a network, though. I don't know if there's any networks that are going to be airing it. I don't know. The fires especially hit close to home for the Birds of a Feather and Hollaback Girl artists, as they both grew up in California. Billie Eilish was born and raised in LA, while Stefani was born in Fullerton and raised in Anaheim. Legendary rock band The Eagles also have previously donated $2.5 million to the benefit concert. All right, so they're putting money in there. All right, there you go. I mean, I'll watch it. It'll be interesting, right? I mean, I think I've been following these fires so closely. This is what we do. We put on concerts, we raise some money. I don't know where the money goes. I got out of the charity game a bunch of years ago when I started to look at other people, and I went, oh, I thought this was all good people involved in this. Ew. Okay, so that's what we got on the fires. What else do we have here? What else is happening? All right, let's talk a little bit about my favorite boy, Elon. Now, you know I have a complicated relationship with Elon. I think that he's just such a weirdo. He's such a weirdo. But, look, what did we talk about? We talked about geniuses when I was talking about Jim Carrey. He's a genius. Elon Musk is a genius. That's why he's a weirdo, and that's why I find him so irritating, because we couldn't be friends. We couldn't hang out. Like, I wouldn't get, like, the tone of half of what he says. I'd misinterpret shit. I'd be like, oh, you were being funny there. And he'd be like, no, I wasn't being funny. And I'd be like, fuck, this friendship sucks. There is no chemistry between us. But he's a genius. He's a genius. And I criticize a lot of what he does. I criticize his Twitter. I criticize his seemingly endless and desperate thirst to be a celebrity, which, just is off-putting to me. But it's so clear and so obvious that he's just so desperate. So anyway, so those have been my problems with him. But, I have also been consistent. He is one of the most important people on the face of the earth right now, not because of his money, but because of his dedication to doing something that I think is the most important thing for human beings, and that is pushing the envelope as to what is next. And, all of this Elon Musk, there's a lot of people like, I don't like that Elon's getting close to the gun. I don't care. I'm not political, right? Whatever. If Elon Musk, and here's what I believe Elon Musk is doing. I believe that Elon Musk is putting himself in a position to get the full weight and support of the United States government behind his mission to Mars, something that the United States government have not been interested in doing when NASA came calling. NASA has had their budget depleted for years and years because we're bored with NASA. We're tired of seeing things blow up. We're tired of the past 30 years of space shuttle business. We came from the glamour of the space race and the moon landing. Things that were actually, you could check the box and say, we accomplished that. And then what did we do? Did we go back to the moon? Did we build on the moon? No. We decided to build a bunch of expensive pickup trucks. And that's what the space shuttle was. It was a pickup truck designed to carry stuff for companies to put satellites in outer space. Now, I can say that with a little bit of snark, but let's be honest. I'm very happy that we have all those satellites up there now. We would not be able to do what we're doing right now. So NASA has nothing. Elon Musk seems to have the ear of the new president, a guy who is as widely influential. If Elon convinces Trump to make sure that his Congress over budgets for space exploration and NASA, because NASA is now partnering with SpaceX, I say yeah. So that's my take. I'm a space dork. I love space. I want us to go to space. I want human beings to do what human beings have always been or always done. And that is thirst relentlessly for what is out there. What is out, whether it was oceans, whether it was crossing a field to find out who the next tribe was, or an ocean, mountains. What we did when we landed here, we landed on the east coast of America. What did we immediately do? We went, what's out there? And we went exploring. Thirst for exploration and new experiences is the most magnificent thing next to love that humans have. And so I am all for this. I am all for let's go. And if, Elon's now being a part of the United States government can expedite the situation that would otherwise be tangled in red tape and not doable at all, then I say good. So why am I talking about this? Because last night there was a pretty big event that took place. I got my little alerts on my phone, so I always know when there's a New Glenn going up or whether there's a Starship going up. I know I got both the Bezos and the SpaceX stuff. Got it all right there at the tip of my, whenever it happens. So a couple days ago we had New Glenn. That's Bezos's company. What is Blue Origin? The New Glenn rocket. See, it's not about the spaceship, people. It's about the rocket. Elon's got the Falcon, right? The heavy fuel Falcon. Isn't that the one that he's doing? And NASA's like really big on that because it's the biggest, most powerful rocket that's ever been built. Bezos got his own version of that. It's called the New Glenn rocket. The New Glenn went up, and I guess it did what it was supposed to do 2 days ago. I actually missed that one. And because I missed that one, I felt a little bit bad. And so when I got the alert last night for Elon's SpaceX putting Starship up there, I was all in. So I watched the whole thing happen. And you guys, here's what I always say about space. Now, why am I such a space nerd? Because I was born on July 20th, 1969. I was born on the day we landed on the moon. It has been like a life-defining moment in history. And I've always, throughout my life, I've been obsessed with just the smallest details of that. The Apollo missions, NASA of the 60s, even, going back to the Mercury and Gemini stuff. I'm even interested in that. So that's where I get my fascination with space. We don't know how to do space at all, okay? We don't. That's why going to the moon the way we did was such an incredible accomplishment, because we can't do it with any consistency. We can't. Shit blows up. Like 1 in 5 blow up on the rocket. Hell, never has a rocket gone up unscheduled. Everyone gets delayed for some reason or another. Even if the launch where it eventually goes up, even if that launch isn't delayed and the countdown goes down without a problem, the launch day itself has probably been delayed 2 or 3 times. So we can't do it with any regularity. And the problem is that the rest of us have been watching sci-fi films for the past 40 years that show us doing all kinds of things. And we just think, oh, well, it should be easy to do that. It ain't easy to do that. We can't do it. And finally, after decades of there being very little interest because of an underfunded NASA to do anything interesting, now we got billionaires who are out there spending their money on this kind of stuff, and I'm okay with it. And Elon Musk is somebody who I root for. His SpaceX can do some things that all of the shit that bothers me about Elon will be forgotten in history if his company can do what his company wants to do, which is colonize Mars. Or let's not put the cart before the horse. Get to Mars. And I'm not even talking with a human. So they did this launch last night of the SpaceX. No, it's Starship. And I believe it was a Falcon rocket, unless they're doing something new. But I haven't heard much talk about, which rocket. It's the Falcon rocket. That's the SpaceX rocket. I don't want to get bogged down in minutia. So they launch it. And it is spectacular, man. I'm telling you, I still get the goosebumps and the hair stands up. The launch was spectacular, and we're watching the telemetry, and it's so awesome. Then the first thing that occurs is the catch. This is the thing. This is the thing that no one's ever been able to do before. In the past, the Apollo rockets and all the Gemini, Mercury, even every other peer person in the world, when their rocket is empty, the rocket is used to push the capsule out into space. When the rocket is done with fuel, like a spent bottle rocket or something, or Roman candle on the 4th of July, it falls into the ocean. We've seen this a million. Parachute and the thing falls. That's garbage. It's trash. No, not anymore. These rockets are reusable. So there needed to be a way, because of all the research and development, the money behind it, needed to be a way to reuse these and recoup these. So Elon came up with a way to land the freaking rocket shell back on the pad. And it is the most incredible feat in space that I have ever seen. And because so many of us have been watching Star Trek and shit for 40 years, we don't appreciate it. We look at it and go, well, yeah, they should totally be able. I saw that on Battlestar Galactica all the time. This is real. Check this out. I want you to see this, because we're also going to talk about the other thing that happened with Starship yesterday. This is why I say this was a magnificent situation. And anybody who's taken shots at Elon Musk, claiming that it was a big failure and all that, didn't watch the whole thing and certainly doesn't know what they're talking about. Here we go. Watch this.
Just like this silver flare coming back to the once again, we are standing by for... Let
me also point something out to you, okay, when you're watching these things. So this is the booster returning back to this is an incredible accomplishment. Let me draw your attention to over here. See these? Okay. So this side here, this is the rocket, okay, but on this side, these are the vitals for Starship. These have nothing to do with what we're looking at. This is the booster returning. These are two separate things. These are these white dots. Those are the engines of Starship. And at some point, and I don't know if we have enough of a clip here, maybe not, but at some point, those lights start to go out and the speed stops cold. And it's like, oh, something happened to the spaceship that would have had the astronauts in it. So we're going to watch this and then we'll go to part 2 of the story. But keep an eye down here in that right corner for this. See if any of these engines go out. Check this.
Attempting to catch the booster at the tower. This would be the second tower catch.
Booster landing burn. Seeing 13 engines.
Booster now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
Booster coming in. Get ready for that boom, Kate.
Down to 3 engines.
Booster landing burn shutdown. Megazilla has caught the booster.
I know some of you may not be impressed by that at all. But man, and he's done it before. Hell, he's landed it on a platform on a wavy stretch of ocean. But just to be able to do this with consistency is important, okay?
You heard it here. Beckzilla has caught the booster.
Once again, for the second time, a successful catch by the launch tower. This is the same tower, the launch pad, where that booster took off from just 7.5 minutes ago.
All right, so hold on now, because I want you, maybe we might, oh no, we're not going to get it. Anyway, I wanted to show you the speed and these engines. This pertains, this is the Starship. This is not what we just saw. That's the booster that we just saw. This is the Starship that's out there in outer space just chucking around. This is how that one's doing. Okay, so I guess we don't have all that. All right, so the Starship exploded, okay? The thing that would have had pilots in it, the thing, again, manned space travel, we're still not there yet. But seriously, can we just, about the giant arm catching, but that is enough. That is what we wanted to do. So the Starship exploded and everybody on the pretend astronauts on board are all dead. Were they real astronauts? We would be in a day of mourning, probably, right? Today. So sad. But they weren't real astronauts because these people are not idiots. They know that we still don't know what we're doing here. So that's why you don't worry about it. People took to Twitter. They made a big deal about it. They're like, ha ha. Another failure for Elon. It's not a failure for Elon. What they were really trying to nail down here was a successful liftoff, which they did, and a successful retrieval of the rocket, which they did. And in fact, this particular Starship was designed specifically to test the limits of re-entry. They didn't 100% believe that the Starship was going to survive re-entry. They wanted to see how much it could take. And guess what? It exploded. And guess what? That means it was a success. That means the entire mission was a success. So stop with the BS about how, he killed those pilots. There were no pilots in there. They knew there weren't going to be pilots in there. They wanted to test this thing on re-entry. So anyway, there were problems associated with the explosion of Starship. Here, I believe maybe this is the one. Let me see. Hold on. Got a couple of different examples. It broke apart over the Caribbean, and people all over the place were pulling up. Vacationers, if you will. Hold on. Where is it? Do I have a good one? Is this a good one? Yeah, let's see. All right, so here. This is what Starship looked like, unfortunately. This is what Starship looked like as it broke up over the Caribbean, as filmed by vacationers. Yep. Beautiful. All right, so there you go. That's what's left of Elon's Starship. Again, a ship that was designed with the expectation that it probably wasn't going to come back because they were going to see how much stress it could actually take. So that's it. Successful day. We're going to Mars, man. I'm telling you. I can't wait. I don't know if I'll still be here. I don't know if we're, I don't know how far we are off. But, man, it looks like they are making real accomplishments. Bezos going to put a base on the moon. That's what he wants to do, and I'm all for that. That base on the moon that Bezos is building will probably serve Elon as Elon tries to go from the moon then to, I don't know, it's just all very exciting. It's all very exciting. I would love to be a kid again. I would love to be a kid again, looking at the world, the way it's going to unfold in the next 50 years, especially in the world of science and space exploration. Oh, my God, what a time to be 15. All right, let's keep going. So Elon had a mixed bag, but let's be honest, it was quite the accomplishment that occurred yesterday. Bob Uecker died, the great Uecker. Who doesn't love baseball? Bob, right? I love baseball, Bob. I'm a Brewers fan. I've always been a Brewers fan. Well, it has to do with my dislike of the Cubs. I have 2 National League teams. Primarily, I'm a St. Louis Cards fan going all the way back to when I was little. But also the Brewers. When the Brewers jumped to the National League, the Brewers played in a stadium that I had been to, the Old County Stadium. They used to be rivals of the White Sox when they were both in the American League. So I used to go up there. Loved the Brew Crew. As soon as they became rivals of the Cubs, I'm like, here we go. So I love the Brewers. Bob Uecker is the longtime voice of the Milwaukee Brewers, an absolute god in that town. It's like the most important man in Milwaukee's history is Bob Uecker. Bob Uecker died yesterday. Want to show you how ABC dealt with him, and then we're gonna play some video. I'm gonna show you some examples of Bob Uecker. We're gonna have some fun with this guy. Here you go, Bob Uecker. This
better nutrition too.
Television.
We love our eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best.
Here you go.
Finally tonight here, celebrating Mr. Baseball.
They called him Mr. Baseball. Bob Uecker, a backup catcher turned comedian turned Hall of Fame broadcaster turned legend.
And this place is going bonkers.
Born and raised in Milwaukee, he reached the majors with his hometown team, the then Milwaukee Braves, in 1962. But he would become better known after playing baseball, a frequent on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson.
Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker.
It was Carson who first called him Mr. Baseball.
Now, this picture must be obviously of an exciting moment.
Yes, this is on a day when the ball club found out that I wasn't playing.
His sense of humor, his self-deprecating style, earning him fame and affection.
You're in the wrong seat, buddy. Come on. Oh, I must be in the front row.
This ad campaign for Miller Lite in the 80s.
Vaughn into the windup in his first offering. Just a bit outside. He tried.
In '89, starring in the film Major League, he was Harry Doyle. Bob Uecker would always return home to Milwaukee, giving the play-by-play for the Brewers for 54 seasons.
Here it is. Swinging a drive.
With that signature catchphrase.
Way back. Get up. Get up. Get out of here and go.
Tonight, the Milwaukee Brewers, the team he loved so much, announcing Uecker's passing after a battle with small cell lung cancer. Tonight, Bob Uecker, in his own words.
Of all the things that I've done, this has always been number one, baseball. I could never wait for everything to get over to get back to baseball. No matter what else I ever did, baseball was the only way I wanted to go.
All right, Ueck, get up, get out of here, gone, Bob Uecker. One of the great personalities of baseball in my lifetime. Oh, what happened to our, did I lose the, okay, there we go. I loved Uecker, man. I got to meet Uecker once, like in the 90s, when I was working in Chicago media. And when I say meet him, it's like I didn't get to hang out with him, but I was in the same sort of gaggle of people where he was holding court and you just listen. He was funny, man. Mr. Belvedere, of course, right? The old Mr. Belvedere show. He got an ABC sitcom. He was in movies. He was a killer. He was a lights out talk show guest in the 1970s because he was so deprecating about his place in baseball history. Uecker was the announcer, for the local announcer for the Milwaukee Brewers. That's not a big spotlight. That doesn't make you a star, but he was doing all the shows, Johnny Carson, all that stuff, because he had this self-effacing story and brand about his place in baseball. He considered himself the worst major leaguer in the history of the game. And his just relentless takedowns of himself and how terrible he was, while being intertwined with these stories about rubbing shoulders with like Mickey Mantle and Joe DiMaggio and all these greats. He was brilliant. Just the way his fly, he wasn't a fly on the wall. He's a major leaguer. He had every right to be there. But the way he turned these into story, he was just an amazing guy. Funny guy. Beloved. So beloved. I mean, nationwide, basically in the baseball circles. But Milwaukee, they just love this guy so much. Okay, so let me play another example of him. This is pretty funny. I'm gonna play this. This is from an old Howard Stern show. Okay, this was a Howard Stern show from probably about 10, 15 years ago. Artie Lang and Norm Macdonald, okay, are talking to Howard about Norm's best pal, For some weird reason, Norm Macdonald and Bob Uecker became really close friends. And this is this is a story about a time when Norm Macdonald brought Artie Lang, another big baseball fan. Norm Macdonald brought Artie Lang to hang out with Bob Uecker. This is a story that they told on Howard Stern from a few years ago. It's really funny. On this, the day after the day that Bob Uecker passed away, Mr. Baseball, get up, get out of here, and gone. Here he is.
Talked to Bob Uecker, by the way.
Oh, did you? Did you see that?
Yeah,
was he mad?
Whatever.
Was he really?
Was he?
What do you mean?
Last time I went on Letterman, I told a story about Bob Uecker.
Yeah.
And what did he say? Does he not remember it?
He said, no.
Was it a bad story?
The story is, all right.
Don't tell the story.
Don't like. I don't care. Bob Uecker's 90. I don't care if he's mad. I love Bob Uecker.
No, he wouldn't know it from this show.
How do you know Bob Uecker?
Well, that's part of the story.
Yeah, that's part of the story.
Norm did a commercial with him for light beer.
Okay.
So it was when we were doing the Norm show. So he invited Norm out to spring training in Phoenix, Arizona, and said, "Look, man, come the fuck out to Arizona, man." You know, he's a guy you hear on the TV.
Yeah, Bob Uecker.
Right, but he's so filthy when he talks. Every other word is fuck. It's unbelievable.
Right.
And he's one of the funniest guys I've ever met.
Right.
So Norm says to me, "Hey, man, let's go hang out with Uecker," because he knows I'm a big fan, which was nice. So we go to Arizona. And it's the funniest 24-hour period I've ever spent. We played a round of golf with Bob Uecker, and he let us sit in the booth to listen to him announce a Brewer-Cub game. Okay?
Right.
Now, he had a cough button. You know, if you're going to cough, you hit the cough button, and you're not on the air.
Sure.
So, from what I remember, Norm might not remember this because he's friends with Bob Uecker. But anyway, Uecker would be announcing the baseball game.
Right.
And like a fucking jazz musician, it was unbelievable. If he saw a really hot chick in the crowd, he would hit the cough button and say something filthy about her, then go right back to announcing the game. It was like magic. So
unbelievable. You'd think that's a high-risk thing to be doing. That's like walking the high wire.
He would say he would say shit like this. He'd go, here's the 2-2 pitch to Sosa, ground ball to shortstop. Look at the fucking tits on that whore. Over to first base, 2 down.
And he'd hit the button that quickly.
Yeah, and
so you must have been out of your mind, entertained. And now when you listen to him, you're wondering, like, during the spaces, what he's saying.
Howard, that's the story I told on Letterman. I cleaned it up.
Right.
And he started using like old guy words for the chicks. Like he'd go, fly ball to center field. God, I'd like to get with that trollop. That's the third out. So the other thing he did, let me tell the one other thing he did, because this is amazing.
Yeah.
He sees John Fogerty.
Oh, that was what I was going to say.
Creedence Clearwater
Let
Revival.
me tell that.
All right, go ahead,
Norm.
So he sees John Fogerty, from Creedence Clearwater Revival. So he's like, "Hey, man, that fucker's a rock singer." He goes, "But he can get out of the sand trap like nobody's fucking business. I played in a charity tournament with him." So we're like, yeah, we know who John Fogerty is. And he goes, at the 7th inning stretch, I'll have the fucker come up and sing for you.
Fogerty's there with his kid, by the way. He's a big Cub fan. He's here with his 8-year-old son, John Fogerty.
So we're like, no, you don't have to do that.
Right, don't get John Fogerty to sing.
Leave him alone. It's all right. We don't want him singing in front of us.
So then he gets mad at us. He goes, "Do you even know who fucking John Fogerty is?" So we go, yeah, he did Creedence Clearwater Revival. He goes, "Yeah, he did all that fucking shit." But anyways.
So what happened? Did Uecker actually call you after Artie was on Letterman?
I was in Arizona, so I said, "I'll go to spring training." Forgetting that I saw Artie do it. It was really funny sometimes you do things on TV and you forget that it's a human being you're talking about.
I don't think it was
Well, you know what it is? Uecker has a clean-cut image. He's one of these guys that broadcasts for a network.
Did I get him fired? I don't think I did.
No, but he probably doesn't want it out there that he's busy, talking about broads.
The other thing he did was he was on Mr. Belvedere.
Right. Yeah.
And he found out that 4 years into the show, he found out that the actor who played Mr. Belvedere might be a homosexual.
Right.
So
I asked him a question because Fred Wolf told me there was a rumor that Mr. Belvedere, the actor, during a read-through, sat on his own balls.
Right.
At a read-through. And I didn't know if it was a myth or not,
Yeah.
So Uecker, he doesn't listen too much. Oh, boy. I said to him, "Is it true, Bob, that I heard this thing about Mr. Belvedere that he was at a read-through?" And then he goes, "Oh, yeah, he was a huge fucking fag."
I said, "I remember you from Mr. Belvedere." And he goes, "That guy was fucking riding up the Hershey Highway."
Nice fucking guy, though.
And then we golf with him, Howard. We're golfing with him. And again, it's a guy you see on TV.
Right.
And like there's two women in front of us with two guys.
Right.
And he's like, what the fuck are these guys doing? And he starts screaming. He goes, start moving.
All right. That's enough. That's enough. Bob Uecker was a funny guy. He's just a guy. I know hey, it's 2025. Trump won. Yeah, it's like I say, his new rules. That stuff is fine. I don't have a problem with Bob Uecker, who died yesterday, learning that he objectified hot women. Okay? I don't have a problem with that. I also don't have a problem with he thought it was interesting that Mr. Belvedere, his co-host, turned out to be gay. I do find it appreciative that he didn't seem to bother him about it, though. He was okay with it. So, what do you want? Bob Uecker was a man of his time, and he's gone now. Bob Uecker, Mr. Baseball. He's gone. All right, let's do the other one. The other big one from yesterday they wanted to talk about. David Lynch died. Yesterday, two big dudes, man. Uecker, big American cultural people. I made the joke on Twitter that I guess my dream of seeing Bob Uecker star in a David Lynch film will never come true. That, of course, silly, because David Lynch and Bob Uecker both incredibly important cultural figures in America who represent two completely different areas of American culture. That's how wide and diverse we are. Because for as important to baseball as Bob Uecker has been to a great number of people, David Lynch can say the exact same thing about his importance to filmmaking. David Lynch, the filmmaker. Let's go through his here, I'll give you, let's see his filmography. He didn't make a lot of films. David Lynch wasn't as prolific as a lot of other of his contemporaries, but he made films that got people talking. Let's go through these films. And I have, you know how I have a fetish for filmmakers. Like I got my filmmaker drafts and all this. You know, I love my Kubrick. I love my Paul Thomas Anderson. I love my Richard Linklater. David Lynch is not one of my guys. He's not. There are some things that David Lynch did that I absolutely love. Just off the top of my head, Twin Peaks. Twin Peaks, the TV show, is a top 5 greatest TV show of all time. Anytime I do that list, it's always somewhere around 3, somewhere in the top 5. Twin Peaks is brilliant. What Twin Peaks did when it aired on ABC TV on Thursday nights and then later Saturdays, back in 1990, 1991, what that did on network TV, insane. Nothing like that. And it became a phenomenon. So I love that. I love Wild at Heart. That is, Wild at Heart is just, it's not a movie you can watch over and over again, but if you've seen it once, you're like, yeah, that was wild. Wild at Heart, Nicolas Cage, Laura Dern, right? Sailor and Lulu or something, I believe. Anyway, crazy. Wizard of Oz. It's a play on, it's David Lynch doing his version of Wizard of Oz. That's what Wild at Heart is. But Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet, David Lynch's Blue Velvet. I haven't made my 15-year-old watch it yet. He's got to be in college. He's got to be in college because Blue Velvet is special. That is a special kind of film. All right, so those are the exceptions. But he did a lot of other things, too, that were just terrible. They were just like, what? All right, here you go. Let's go through his filmography, and we can, because this is very easy. All right, Eraserhead. No, thank you. I've tried to see. Look, when I was a young college film snob, I rented Eraserhead because everybody like, you must see Eraserhead. And I rented it, and I'm like, this sucks. I hate this movie. I had a visceral reaction to Eraserhead. I hated it. So there you go. There's the first David Lynch offering. Then 1980. This is where he broke through in the mainstream. This is where suddenly people were like, he's a genius. He's the young genius. 1980s, The Elephant Man. The Elephant Man. You remember that? David Lynch's The Elephant Man. It's probably, well, there's one other one. It is his second most normal movie. And it's about a severely disfigured elephant man. Well, it's the real elephant man. John Merrick, Joseph Merrick, whatever. Not sure. Okay, so Elephant Man. That was 1980. Nominated for an Oscar, all this great stuff. 84, Dune. The original Dune. That was hot garbage. But he also admits that's hot garbage. That's why David Lynch's name does not appear as the director. The director, I believe, is Alan Smithy, which is the name that directors who disavow a project because they say it's been ruined by the studio, they always go with directed by Alan Smithy. So I believe that's who it says directed it, but he directed it. Oh, and then also he wrote the screenplay that he says they heavily edited and destroyed. And so the screenwriter is Judas Booth. That's the name of the screenwriter that David Lynch said, don't put my name there, put the name Judas Booth for, like Booth, the guy who killed Lincoln, and Judas, the guy who betrayed. He doesn't want to have anything to do with Dune. So that movie sucks. So we got Eraserhead. That sucks. We got The Elephant Man. I didn't like The Elephant Man. It was black and white. It was disturbing, but other people did. And then you had Dune, and Dune sucked. 1986 is when Blue Velvet enters the picture. And I got to be honest, I didn't see Blue Velvet in 1986. I don't think I saw Blue Velvet for the first time until like 1992, 1993 on video. Blue Velvet is the most screwed up, insane, small town gangster story you ever saw. And it's just perfect. It was a film that, Dennis Hopper, who plays the character of Frank Booth in this film. Frank Booth is the small town. Lumberton, North Carolina is the place where this takes place. Kyle MacLachlan from Dune, from Dune. Kyle and Twin Peaks, excuse me. David Lynch liked to work with a lot of the same people. Kyle MacLachlan finds an ear in a cornfield or a field in Lumberton. He picks up the ear, and the people who cut the ear off, local gangsters, they want to come to the boy. They want the boy, Anyway, I won't give it away. It's so good. Frank Booth, the character portrayed by Dennis Hopper, the gangster, insane. Like the most fun, crazy character you have ever seen in a film. Somebody the other day was on Twitter and they were like, name a guy who dominated a scene in a film more than this guy. And it was the incredible Edgar? Is it Edgar or Edward? Molina from Boogie Nights. Remember, he's the coke dealer blowing off the fireworks and they come to him to get coke. I'm like, yeah, that's great. And then I offered two other ones, Matthew McConaughey and Wolf of Wall Street. If you're talking about just a couple of scenes in a film and who completely dominates, Matthew McConaughey is a good one too. But Frank Booth, Dennis Hopper, and Blue Velvet, just an incredible film. So there you go. That's great. He follows up Blue Velvet with Wild at Heart. And I think that I got my new favorite filmmaker. I'm like, holy cow, Blue Velvet, Wild at Heart. Then comes over to TV, David Lynch does. He offers Twin Peaks. It becomes my favorite show. I'm like, this guy can do no wrong. Then in 97, he made Lost Highway. And I'm like, who are you, David Lynch? I have no idea who you are. Then he did The Straight Story. I don't know if you've ever seen The Straight Story. The Straight Story is, I think, David Lynch's best film. And it's a weird thing. I mean, it's a weird thing to say because it's his most non-David Lynch film. The Straight Story was rated G and released by Disney, and it's about an old man in Wisconsin who drives a lawnmower 300 miles. That's the versatility of David Lynch. He would go on to do Mulholland Drive, which is a good movie. Inland Empire, which I'd never seen. And that's it. When David Lynch was weird, there is nobody weirder. And when he was great, he was just one of the most interesting and fantastic storytellers film has ever known. A couple of fun facts I want to give you about David Lynch. He began his studies at the Corcoran School of the Arts and Design in Washington, D.C., before transferring in 1964 to the School of the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, where he answered an ad and became roommates with Peter Wolf. Who's Peter Wolf? All right, so I obsess on this stuff. I hate this. This is why I am doomed to a life of obscurity. there are so many celebrities who just like, when we were nothing, they like their roommate is also a celebrity. It's like, how did both of you make it? I've had a lot of roommates. Ain't none of them have ever made it. I got a celebrity who went to a roommate who went to jail. They only lived for a while, but they went to jail. That's what I got. David Lynch goes to Boston, and he's like, "Oh, there's an ad. Somebody needs a roommate." Dude answers the door. It's Peter Wolf. David Lynch over there in the corner writing. I don't know what he's writing. Peter Wolf looks up at him and he goes, "How's this sound? Na 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 na. Angel is a centerfold." Goes like that, David. How does that? Is that a hit? And David probably went, "That song sucks." Founder of the Jay Giles Band and David Lynch were just rando roommates out of nowhere. I've never had a roommate become famous. That means I am doomed to obscurity. Fun fact, David Lynch owes his career to somebody who you would never think. Mel Brooks, ladies and gentlemen. Mel Brooks is the reason that David Lynch has a career. Mel Brooks viewed Eraserhead, and after coming out of the screening, embraced David Lynch publicly in front of the assembled media and declared, "You're a madman. I love you, kid. You are in." Holy shit. Can you imagine that? I mean, someone of the stature of Mel Brooks, Eraserhead. First of all, what is Mel Brooks doing even wasting his time on some stupid little dark independent film that's being screened for critics? Mel Brooks shows up in front of all the critics. That's pretty cool, man. Mel Brooks is a cool dude. After coming out of the screening room in front of the assembled critics, Brooks declared, "You're a madman. I love you. You're in." That "you're in," that had to have been cool for David Lynch to hear, because "you're in" is him saying, "I'm Mel Brooks. I'm a pretty well-established director here in Hollywood. You're a kid who wants to do the kinds of things that I do. I'm telling you, you're in. You're one of us. Let's go. Let's ride." That's cool. Here's another fun fact. After the Elephant Man's success, George Lucas, who was a fan of Eraserhead, I don't get it. I guess me and George Lucas can't be friends. I can't be friends with people who just, what are you seeing that I don't see? George Lucas, a fan of Eraserhead, offered Lynch the opportunity to direct the third Star Wars, Return of the Jedi. David Lynch almost directed Return of the Jedi. Lynch declined, saying that he had next to zero interest, in arguing that Lucas should direct the film himself, as the movie should reflect his vision and not Lynch's. All right, there you go. David Lynch. Cool guy. When he was weird, he was unwatchable and horrid, as is the case in Lost Highway and Eraserhead, and, maybe even elements of the Twin Peaks movie Fire Walk with Me, which I found unwatchable, but I might have to go back and revisit that. I don't know. David Lynch and Bob Uecker, what a day yesterday, both of them, two titans of their chosen paths. What else do we have here? Oh, let's talk about the Bikini Bean situation. Yeah, let's get into this. Yeah, we'll do the bikini. Here's what we're gonna do. We'll wrap the show up. We'll do the Bikini Bean incident, because this is pretty. We gotta sink our teeth into this, and then we're gonna do the street race, the police chase that occurred in Hollywood yesterday. We're gonna spend some time on that because that's fun. All right, so don't worry, we're not almost over. But let me show you this. All right, so here, this is a video that went viral. Hold on, I gotta pull this up. What? Okay, well, cool. So I guess the video, I guess I don't have the video. It's not like it's hard to find. That's okay. You know what? This'll work. We don't need. Oh wait, is the video? Hold on. Did somebody drop the video in his family? Oh, they did. Oh, terrible people. Okay. Hold on. No. Okay. Yeah. Ugh. All right. All right, so this is the video that went viral. Sorry, it's taking a little wrangling for me. All right, this guy right here. All right, you see this guy? All right, yeah, so he went viral. Here, we'll make it big. We'll start it over. Here we go. All right, so here's what happened. What the hell just happened? Yeah, stay there. Okay. All right, here's what happened. So this is one of those, I told you about this. They got these, apparently, I saw it in Landman, so it must be true. They've got these morning coffee places where it's girls in bikinis. So there's one in Tempe, Arizona. It's a Bikini Bean or something like that. Dude rolls up to the drive-thru. All right. Dude is naked from the waist down, and he's doing what dudes shouldn't be doing. So let's watch this video. Okay, here we go. This went viral. It was everywhere. You probably saw it. Here we go. Let's watch it.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Good. Have you been here before?
Yeah.
Sir, you need to leave. Unacceptable.
Okay. Okay, did you see? All right, I'm having difficulty controlling this. All right, here you go. Well, there you go. That's perfect. As you can see, old boy got no pants on. He's just comfortable as the day is long. He's got his hand between his legs. I'm not sure what he's doing there. He's got the all-knowing smile of a boy being mischievous. Look at him. So so you get what's happening? Here's what I think is going on. Apparently there's a line, and I think you have to wait in line and you have to order. And it's a lot like ordering at a very popular fast food restaurant. You don't just pull up or talk to a machine. There are girls out there with clipboards taking your order as you wait in line and then radioing them into the kitchen, right? That's how it works. So I imagine he's been in line for a while and there's a bunch of girls in bikinis walking around taking double latte, triple mocha, whatever. So he decided, he's probably come here every day. He decided, he's like, tomorrow I'm not wearing pants, right? It's like, oh, I'm just going to sit here. It takes forever. I may as well. So he's retarded, right? Or there's something wrong with him. This is not something no normal person would ever be like, I'm going to not wear pants. They'll probably be okay with it. Look at his smile. Here's a question I have as an ugly man. Because I don't know, and I'm not gay, but, I'm looking at him, and I don't see anything obviously wrong with him. There's a chance. I don't know this because, again, I'm a straight guy. He might be a good-looking guy, right? Is he a good-looking guy? Doesn't he look kind of like Drake? I think he looks good. He's going to look like a homeless dude. He's got a hot car. He kind of looks okay. So maybe he just thinks, and again, as an ugly guy, I would never think this, but maybe he thinks, hey, I'm good looking. Chicks dig me. This is going to go over. She's going to hop in the car with me because I look like Drake or whatever. And I don't even know if he looks like Drake, but you know what I'm saying? He's confident. Like he doesn't think there's anything wrong with this. All right, let's watch it again.
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Good. Have you been here before?
Yeah.
Sir, you
Okay, right. This is where he's been outed.
need to leave.
Sir, you need to leave. Unacceptable. And he's like, but wait, I'm handsome and girls typically like me. On the spectrum, I think is the nice way to say what his problem might be, but I just, I go full-blown broken brain.
Acceptable.
Okay, now
Unacceptable. Call 911.
Call 911. Oh, look at it. Good, clear look at his plates there. Arizona plates, ONA 328. Oh, yeah. Nice car. Dude's got a job. All right, there he goes. So that happened, and it went viral. We all laughed. We all went, ha ha! He killed himself. That guy killed himself. That guy went home, Apparently realized what had gone viral or something, and he killed himself. I don't know how he killed himself. He killed himself. He's dead. He's dead. Huh. I'm like, huh? Because I saw that video. I think I forwarded it. I shared it. I saw that video when it came out. I was like, ha ha, freaking perv. Man, I probably would, in my head, I probably did that whole thing I do. Man, people are so screwed up. That guy, someone ought to kick that guy's ass. Probably how I felt about it. Or like what I said, I'm like, that guy's retarded, right? That's like just another retarded guy. We need to get him to talk to somebody, maybe get him on some meds, because that is not something normal people do. Right? That was my reaction to it. I don't think he needs to die. I don't think he needs to kill himself over it. I mean, I understand why. His life's over. Your life's over. The life you know. You can always build a new life. You can create a new thing. You can pick up and move to another country if you need. Change your name, whatever. I know they say the internet is forever, but he could eke out some kind of a life devoid of that mess somewhere else. It would take some work, and he'd probably always live in fear of somebody going, are you the guy that jerked off in the coffee line? You got to live with that fear, but I think you can, in some way, shape, or form, save some semblance of a reasonable life after making a serious social mistake. Haven't checked the chat room. I'm wondering if we got Adam going, it's a sex crime! Because I don't think it's a sex crime. I mean, I know it's a sex crime. The way the laws are written, I know that's a sex crime. Yeah, it's not a sex crime. Or, at the very least, we need to, again, like I do with shootings, and whether or not we should freak out about shootings, you got to put them in boxes. Do we have to have an entire bunch of like sex crime boxes now? Because there are sex crimes. There are people who will kick in a woman's door in the middle of the night, beat her in the head with a hammer, and then rape her. Okay, that's going to be box one. All right, we're going to put that guy in box one, sex criminal. And then over here, you got Louis C.K. pulling his dick out at parties around comedians, okay? That's sort of the different sex crime. This guy over here, breaking in, he's got wearing a stocking cap. He's like, we're searching for the hillside rapist. That guy goes here. And then there are a whole bunch of other variants of sex crimes. They're all bad. They're all bad. That's why they're crimes. But I'm just saying they're not all the same. They're just not. So what this guy did is not something that I think any reasonable people would think he needs to spend the rest of his life in prison. He needs to be up for, the death penalty. Nobody. It's not, because when it comes to that, we get reasonable. And a guy for doing that doesn't even go to jail. A guy for doing that, gets probation and has to sign up and be on a list. Maybe he's got to go around his neighborhood and go, hi, just wanted to let you know I live in the neighborhood and I'm the guy that jerks off and coffee drive-thrus. Hi, is that your daughter? So that's what he's got to do. And that's bad. But that ain't the same as, the hillside rapist who's kicking it. So is it a sex crime? Yeah, it's a sex crime. He didn't need to die. It's a sad story. It's a sad story about a screwed up dude. We all know weird people. I say this a lot. I go, when I was a kid growing up, Gen X in the 70s and 80s and all that, there were weirdos everywhere. We had weirdos. Half my friends were weirdos. Half the people I loved were weirdos. In the 1970s, right? They were just weird. That's what they do. They're weird. But now we have, we have a spectrum. Now we have, half the people I grew up with are on the spectrum. This guy is a little bit further around the bend than maybe the rest of them. I mean, it's a sex crime because he scared the woman. He scared the woman. Oh, so all women are shrieking violets? Shrieking? It's shrinking. It's shrinking violet, right? It's not shrieking. That's what I push back on. Because I am sorry. The women that I know, the women that I grew up around, would not in the slightest bit feel violated if a dude did that to them. They'd make fun of him. They'd talk shit. Do you know what Kelly would have done if somebody tried? So don't give me this. They've been victimized. He's a violent sex criminal. He's not. He did a creepy sex thing, and there's a box for that. He didn't have to kill himself. He didn't have to end his life. He should have gotten an ass kicking. He should have gotten, beat up. You beat up people for that. My God. Can we return to that era where that guy just catches a beating and then we just all go on? He's fine. He's fine. But, he goes on. He's the guy who caught a beating for jerking off in line. I'm telling you. And it's not like this is because of viral. We all think, oh, this is happening now. People are so twisted. No, there have been pervs like this throughout time. You just didn't capture it on Ring doorbells or people's cell phones. Dudes were always jerking off inappropriately. It's a thing. Hell, Fred Willard. Remember Fred Willard? Remember this guy? The great Fred Willard? Anyway, never mind. I don't want to besmirch the great Fred Willard here on this Friday. Anyway. Hugh says, this is interesting. Hugh says, this is why America needs legalized prostitution. Legalized prostitution. I agree. I agree that there should be some form of legalized prostitution. I just struggle with how you connected these. I don't know if this has anything to do. This guy, because you're legalized prostitute. What, he would have gone to a prostitute? No. They go to a prostitute now. I know it's not legal, but you see, he's not worried about, it's not breaking the law that is keeping him from getting a prostitute. The dude is jerking off in a coffee drive-through. He's not worried about breaking the law. But I do agree with you, Hugh. I do believe that if prostitution was something that men could make money at in the way women do, there'd be no question it'd be legal. America would have McDonald's, Coca-Cola, and man whores are us. That would be our three greatest capitalist corporations. Come on. The fact that prostitution is illegal has a whole lot to do with the fact that we like to keep our women in control. It's morally wrong. Oh, are we going to get out a list of things that we're now concerned about being morally wrong? Really? Okay. Let's talk about your taxes. Let's talk about what your husband does for a living. Let's talk about the healthcare industry or what. Come on. You're morally wrong. How selective. Get out of here. You don't want prostitution around your town or your area, then you elect people who are like-minded with you and you enact your rights as a member of a representative democracy and you vote. You don't have prostitution in your town. Some people will be like, I don't care. As long as it's clean, it's not on the street. Like, I don't give a shit if there's like a building in downtown Dallas where horny dudes can go, like a hotel. And I don't care. I don't care. And why do you? You shouldn't care. Just don't go. I'm not going. You don't go either. And it'll be fine. It'll be nice. Be expensive. It'll be fancy. Stop it. Right now, we got a bunch of like really gross crackheads walking up and down Harry Hines 24 hours a day. Let's stop that. Okay? That's exploitative. That I don't like. Adam says non-violent sex crime, yes. Adam and I, we can agree on a lot of things. She's actually a reasonable person. There is a difference between sex crimes that are violent and sex crimes that are just gross and creepy. Louis C.K. is just gross and creepy, okay? The Hilltop, who's great? Who's one of the world's most famous rapists? Well, Bill Cosby. Isn't that weird? I went, famous rapists. Like I hit those buttons in my head. Famous rapist. And Cosby came up. That's weird. All right, let's move on. Fall from grace, as we talked about earlier today on the stream. Let me see here. What are we moving into? You know what? That's good. Oh, we got a LinkedIn profile for him? Nah, I don't want to do that. He's dead. His name is Nautica. I got his real name. I don't want to give you his real name. Just leave him alone, okay? Leave him alone. He's a creepy guy. He did something creepy. He didn't hurt anybody. He got so scared. Like, see, that's the thing that does it for me with him. The minute she was obviously not into it, he was shocked. Like, he thought she was going to be into it. He was like, she's like, no, that is like, the look on his face was like, well, that is not the response I expected. And then I asked the question, why did he expect a different response? And I'm like, well, is it because he's good looking? Is it because like women are typically, or is it because he's retarded? And I think it might be that. I think a combination of him being slightly mentally disabled and good looking. He's the Daryl Hannah of coffee drive-thrus. Look at that. Hot and retarded. All right. Let's see here. We are going to do one more thing because I did want to get into this today, so we're going to have some fun here. But I want to remind you, this show, every day, it runs on your gratuities and your tips. So if you do support this kind of talk radio, we don't have any commercials. We don't have any advertisers. I don't take any money from anything. But if you like me, treat me like I'm your bartender. Treat me like I am your pizza delivery guy or whatever it is you're having brought to your doorstep. Drop a little something in the Venmo. Drop a little something in the Cash App. It's how we've been doing this show for 3 years. We don't make any money. But you guys give me just enough to get by, and we keep going day by day. So thank you so much. Drop it in the Venmo, drop it in the Cash App. Okay, now we're going to do a video breakdown. We're going to hang out. We're going to talk about something that I watched on live TV last night. Now, I had, of all people, Patton Oswalt. Do you know the comedian Patton Oswalt? Patton Oswalt started doing videos that went semi-viral because he's kind of famous. But he started doing videos last night of him and his friends sitting in his living room watching on their big screen TV a police chase that was occurring in Los Angeles. And they were very funny. They were doing play-by-play on it. And so I'm like, wait. And because you look at it, I'm like, when was this posted? 12 hours ago? And I look at it, I'm like, this was posted 5 minutes ago. Like, this police chase must be going on. So I went over and YouTube, and of course, KTLA, the great KTLA, which I've been using so frequently these past few weeks with fire coverage. KTLA was streaming this police chase. Now, you have to understand, police and all authorities, doesn't matter, everybody, spread a little thin right now in Los Angeles County and Los Angeles. So not a lot of cops directing traffic in the middle of Hollywood. Not a lot of people getting pulled over for 10 over on the 101, right? Cops are doing other things. Well, some local kids, and by local, they're certainly from LA. I would place them just on appearance, probably natives of South Central LA. They had some fun, and it was amazing. Kids on dirt bikes. 2 kids on dirt bikes. No helmets, no plates, no nothing. Just they're like going in and out of traffic. They're riding wheelies. They're doing all kinds of tricks all throughout Los Angeles. This went on for the better part of 2 hours. I got in about a half hour in, so I missed the first half hour. But we're going to watch some of this, and we're not going to watch the full hour and a half. We're going to fast forward just enough for you to get an idea of what's happening here. It was glorious. It was just, but what I really enjoyed, though, were the play-by-play people, the news people from LA who were calling this. Oh my God, they are so programmed. There is a part where the 2 initial riders are joined by, let me put it this way, dozens of their friends. That's right, dozens. We're following 2 dudes on dirt bikes for a half hour. And I'm like, man, these guys, they ought to split up. I kept yelling. I kept going, split up. The cops can't follow both of you. Split up. And they wouldn't split up. And the dudes, they're on their phones and stuff, and they're waving to the helicopters. It's great. And then at some point, they make a turn, and dude, there's like 30 other dudes on dirt bikes. And now we've got this armada of dudes on dirt bikes just rolling through Hollywood, going on sidewalks, doing like flips and all kinds of tricks, helicopters, pulling. It was the most insane thing I've ever seen. Never seen anything like it. And the play-by-play people, back to them and their nonsense. So when I say they're programmed, it's like they just say whatever it is that they think a television person should say at this point. So at the point where all of their friends joined them, and this newswoman goes, well, it looks like some of the people are now having conversations with our two suspects. I sure hope they're encouraging them to give up. They might be talking to... Like, what? Like, as she's saying it, they're like, fuck yeah, to the flight, to the helicopter and all that. I'm like, you suck. You people suck. And then there's also this ongoing thing where whenever nothing is happening and we're just watching these guys get chased, here is the mood of the play-by-play announcers, the news people. It's this. This is just terrible. Someone's got to stop this. Somebody is going to get hurt. I've never seen anything like this, have you? No, I haven't. And this is, again, the kind of thing that, kids will see this and they will think, hey, so that's the default when nothing's going on. But then also, they're doing this. Wow! Did you see that? That might be the longest wheelie I've ever seen. Oh, my goodness. They're all over the place. Bullshit artists. So let's watch a little of this, shall we? Shall we see what happened last night while LA is on fire, how it was taken over by a bunch of dudes on dirt bikes for a good 2 hours in prime time? It was one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. So we're going to watch it right here. Let me see if I can pull it up. All right, how should I do this? How should I give you the whole damn thing? Well, actually, here. Yeah, you know what? I'll show you this. So we'll do this at first. This is how I became aware of the situation. This is comedian Patton Oswalt. Oh, all right, yeah, there we go. Comedian Patton Oswalt. This is how I became aware of it.
They're all.
He looks smooth, but the wheel.
Yeah, but that wheel's not good. Oh, if that thing comes off.
But the guy.
They're saying something to each other.
Yeah, it's like, help me.
Oh my God!
They're gonna get me.
Well, the cops are there now.
On,
there they are.
Get him.
Come on, Punch.
Oh,
get in there.
Man, it doesn't get better than this.
This is so fun.
Hell yeah.
Come on, I'd love a bike to just go so fast.
That looks like LAPD. When do they get the CHP cops in there, too?
Mm-hmm. Looks like the chips are down.
Oh, my God.
Because I said.
All right, there you go. So that's how I became aware of it. Patton Oswalt began tweeting these things of them sitting around watching it. So I ended up watching it here. I have the actual full thing. We're going to fast forward through it. It won't take, 2 hours. I promise you that. But I do want to watch this for a while. All right, so here, let's see how it starts. Again, this is in Los Angeles yesterday when all the cops are busy with fires. Hold on. YouTube. There we go. All right, here we go. There we go. And boom. Okay. Okay. So what we're looking at here are the two original people. They are being chased by police because one of them, the guy in the blue, on the blue bike, ran into a police car, hit a police car, and the cop was like, "Rah!" And so now it turned into all of this. So they're like, we're running. And I guess he hit the police car. They were saying he was going in and out of, guys on motorcycles go in and out. So he was going in and out in a traffic jam, and the cop decided that he was going to get him and chase him. And the dude's like, nope. And so now they're running. They don't care. Look at them here. They're running. And there's no sound because this is before they went live with it. And this right now is the helicopter pilot filming this and probably showing it to a producer back at the station going, do you want to go live with this? Do you want to break in? And they do. They will break it. This is, by the way, one of the things that's awesome about Fox News Now, which is a YouTube channel. It is a channel that I rely on for a lot of crap. Fox News Now is live in the minute coverage of anything that's happening in any city where there's a local Fox News bureau. They tap into everything. So a lot of times it's great for car chases because they do all the car chases from Phoenix and all the great car chase cities of America. Phoenix, Los Angeles, San Diego. All right, here we go. All right, so they're running through. There is no real sound here yet. See how fast before. Just two dudes, no plates, nothing legal about these bikes. And I'll tell you, you might be thinking to yourself, what are these guys? A bunch of dudes in South Central Los Angeles. I saw, what was that movie? What was the movie about NWA? Anyway, I saw that movie. Why do they need to? Because California, and this is something that I've really learned in the last couple of days with these fires, you could use a dirt bike just about everywhere in Southern California. It's nothing but hills and valleys and trails and mountains and all of that. So, see a bunch of, guys, bunch of young, otherwise thought to be urban fellows, if you will. That's why, they all have dirt bikes. And apparently, as you'll see in a few minutes, they all got dirt bikes, man. They all, where did these dirt bikes come from? All right, so here you go. They don't care. Police are chasing them. They got the helicopter up. They got no plates. They got no helmets. They're flipping the camera off. They seem to be having the time of their life. They're doing, this is all illegal, but it's not necessarily troubling. This is the kind of stuff that people on motorcycles do every day. There's somebody right now on 635 doing this. All right, so let's keep watching. Let me check my list. I've got a list of things. All right, so here. Let's just fast forward a little and see if we can get some audio at some point. There they go. Now they're really cruising. See this guy right here. This is interesting. This guy has been on the phone for a while. He's calling somebody. Or at the very least, he's putting the word out. And it's about to get crazy. So the cops aren't chasing them because, you don't do that. The cops are staying back. The helicopter is on them. Just let them do. Okay. All right. That's the plan. All right. I need some helicopter chatter or I need some news because I know there's a lot of news. All right. Now we're about. All right. So hear that? The helicopter pilot has now engaged his microphone. So we're going to hear at least some description of what's happening here. By the way, when this was happening live, I had my Google Earth out in front of me. And I was actually looking at the streets and where they could end up and where they're going. Again, we're watching footage from last night. A massive police chase that went on for 2 hours between every cop in Southern California that isn't fighting a wildfire and a bunch of
we are making our way
bikes.
Westbound 105 now at this point. And, Amy mentioned riding into the sunset. And, we need to mention that because the sun is going to be setting.
All right, can we go with full broadcast mics? Come on. All right, here, switch that over. We'll get to it. All right, they're having fun. Look, now this dude's on his phone. He's like, I'm calling the boys. I just want to establish. Oh, here we go. Okay. All right, look at what we got now. Here we go. Where is the audio for this? I don't know if there's any audio. All right, so it's just two guys. We've been watching this now for about 40 minutes. Two guys. That's all we're worried about. Two guys. And then they make this up. What's going on? Hey, what's happening here? What? Okay, we got two more guys. We're picking up strays. This is turning into like one of them OJ. Oh, who's this now? Oh, my God. All their boys are here. This is when I was watching it live. I guess this doesn't have the play-by-play, but this is when I was watching it live when the person was like, I hope they're encouraging them to stop this. Like, yeah, that's what they're doing. They're saying, hey, you mister, you pull over right now. This is irresponsible, and all us fellow motocross enthusiasts are getting a black eye from this. Yeah, that's what's happening. That's what's happening, news lady. All right, so here they go. That dude's doing wheelies. Other dude's doing wheelies. This is incredible. Seriously, I need to find... Yeah, all right. All right, so here's something that is about to occur that I don't know how I feel about it. It's one of the reasons that this is the most insane car chase that I've ever watched. What we are looking at here is at a minimum 30 dudes on motocross bikes driving the wrong way in traffic, on sidewalks, doing wheelies. They've all joined each other now. Initially, cops are seeking two dudes, two guys, the guy on the white bike and the guy on the blue bike. Those two guys right there in the front, that's who the police are after. But everybody else has now joined them, okay? So we've got this happening. Look at what's going on here. They are stopping for gas. In the middle of a police chase, they are stopping for gas. Wouldn't I understand the police idea of we're going to hold back? I'm not going to force them to drive crazy, maybe endanger somebody else. We're going to let them do their thing. I understand that. How far back are they? Look at that. They are stopping for gas. I'm speechless. I don't know. Look at, they don't care. They're waving to the camera. They know the helicopter's there. They're having a little trouble, it looks like, at the pump. Somebody's got to prepay. You can't allow these guys to refuel their motorcycles. Well, and they do, of course. So we're going to see this. The other dudes that came out, they're kind of circling the wagons. They seem to be doing wheelies and whatever they're doing. Look at this here. Pull out. Give us a wide shot so we can see. I don't see one cop anywhere, man. They are actually stopping. They tried to use a card at first and it didn't work. And I don't know if you saw, somebody else came over and gave their card. This is like a second attempt to get gas out of this pump. Where are the police? Well, they're fighting fires. That's the answer. They're incredibly understaffed to begin with. And, well, these kids are exploiting the loophole. And you know what? I'm kind of like, that's okay. As long as nobody gets hurt. And Los Angeles could use this diversion. They didn't break anything. They didn't hit anything. They didn't hurt anybody. All they did was bruised a bunch of police egos by nuts.
This portable warm air blaster will be in every home in America by 2026. It can heat a 900...
All right, back to it. All right, so here they go. They're pulling out. Full gas. They're good. Look, and there they go. They're waving to the camera. Look at, we got dudes on ATVs. We got other people in the street. Look at this guy. Wing, ding, 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 ding. Wing, ding, 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 ding. Full tank of gas. Let's party, people. All right. I mean, what are they doing that's wrong? I mean, is that wrong? Okay, technically, doing a wheelie is wrong. Why? Because it's dangerous. I mean, it's not wrong because it's theft. It's not wrong because it's physical violence. It's wrong because it's inappropriate. These teens are being inappropriate. Pugs, what if your child was out on the road? They don't seem like they're doing anything that's even coming close to hurting people. And I watched for 2 hours. They're dudes on dirt bikes. I mean, unless we're just going to say that all of these guys who ride like this all the time are doing terrible, terrible things. I know they're doing irritating things, and we all just sometimes get that urge to open our door. But then we don't, you know what I mean? When they're like, they're like coming up through you're in a traffic jam, and they're coming between cars, between the lanes, and you just like, man, I want to open my door. And the reason you don't do it is because you know that'll screw up your door. You're like, I don't want to deal with that. I'd rather just be irritated and let them do it. But look at, I don't know. We're having some fun. Hold on, there's other crazy stuff that happens. All right, let's keep going. Let's fast forward. Look at these guys just through the streets of Hollywood. Actually, they're not. Where they're going now is they're heading back into Inglewood. They were in Hollywood. They were roaring around Hollywood. Now they're heading home. They're heading back to Inglewood, which is where police believe they're from, like the triumphant heroes. They will be rolling into their neighborhood with everyone having been watching this chase on television for the previous 45 minutes. They do. Most of the times when people, like, I've seen this before with car chases in LA, they will typically, not they, and by they I mean the people being chased, okay? They will typically, at the very end, they will go to where they're from because that's what they're comfortable with. They know the alleys. They know the back streets, right? They're thinking a plan. Where can I get out? So that's what they do. So now they're heading back into Inglewood. where they will be greeted as heroes. Look at just wheelies, wing, ding, 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 wing. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Let's look at this collection here at this intersection. Let's see how many of them gaggle at this point. I love this guy. Look at him. Wang, ding, 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 ding. Just doing wheelies in circles. They're high-fiving each other. These guys are having a good time. Where are the police? Again, I know they're fighting fires, but you would think there would be somebody, at least within the helicopter shot. Look at them. They're waving. You know what? I got it. Look, they are waving. They're not flipping off the camera. I thought last night, I'm like, they're being hostile punks. Actually, they seem to be just waving at the camera. Like, yeah, they're heading into the hood. Here they go. Wing, ding, ding, wing, ding, ding, wing, ding, 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 ding. Having the time of their lives. Rich people's houses are burning. And they're like, let's go. Now, make a right turn. Where are they going? One guy's going this way. They're staying as a pack, too, because as I'm watching this, see, once they got joined by dozens and dozens of other riders, I was like, oh, this isn't really good for them. Are they trying to get lost? They can't get lost. We know who the original two are. We're gonna follow the original two. But when it was just two of them, I was like, all they'd have to do is split up and go in two different directions, and the helicopter is screwed, and there's no cops following them, so just split up. Look at them, where they go. They're waving. They're talking. They got full tanks of gas because, again, in the middle of the bike chase, they stopped to refuel. I think one of them went to work and did a shift. Some of them are delivering food. This is crazy. This is a complete breakdown of the civil authority. There is a part of me that looks at this and goes, this is unacceptable. And the other part of me that goes, this is what happens. At least it's not like The Purge. At least they're not firing guns and killing. These are just kids being assholes. And there's a part of me that I'm like, that's kind of funny. Kind of funny. Los Angeles could use a laugh. Los Angeles could use a little entertainment. Look at that dude. That's just the dude on a regular motorcycle. He's like, I'm not with them. This guy out there in an SUV. None of these things have plates. None of these guys are wearing helmets, and you better believe California has helmet laws. None of these guys probably have driver's licenses. They just don't care. They don't care. It's not a big deal. All right, they're all gaggled. You know why? Because they reject. They reject the programming. They reject the construct that you must have a driver's license, that you must have something on file with the man. These kids are the true cowboys of our era, man. Look at them. All right. And here's the other thing. They're not blowing red lights. They're not. They're stopping at red lights, and they're posing for the camera. I don't know. All right, let's see. What are they doing here? There's nobody. There are no cops. Why didn't cops come? Where are the SUVs? So frustrating. Let's see. Again, this was last night in Los Angeles. What started out as just two dudes on dirt bikes being chased by cops because one of them pissed a cop off by the way he was driving. It turned into this. Look at this. Wing, ding, ding, wing. I think this is the longest wheelie I've ever seen. Wait, what? Coming up is the long. He's still holding that. Oh, he put it down. Somebody at some point performs what is easily the longest wheelie I've ever seen. And it's one of those dudes who's kneeling on it like that. Might be that guy. Very impressive skills. They're really good. These dudes are really good at riding dirt bikes. Hey, Brandon, Sunbrew, got an idea. South Central Dirt Bike Stunt Team. Let's do it. Put it in the parking lot of Duke's on Beltline. This Thursday, come see the South Central Motorcycle Dirt Stunt Team. All right, what are these? Look at this. Look at these guys. Is it a contest? All right, wait, I want to go back. All right, if it's a contest, let's place our bets, okay? So it's white against green. So white against white is up. 1, 2, 3. Green. Oh, green was already up. All right, let's just assume they both went up at the same time. Here we go. Who do you got? I got green. I think green's going to last longer. Here we go. White against green. Wheelie off. All right, here we go. Come on, get up, white. Get up. There he goes. White's up. We know green's already up. Get next to Green. There's Green. All right. I got Green. Hold it, Green. Green is struggling. Green. 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 Oh, shit. Where did Green go? Green. Oh, man. That's why I don't gamble. Can't gamble at these things. All right. So, it's still the sun is still out. So this goes on for a little bit further. Let's keep watching. There you go. Maybe this is the longest wheelie ever. I don't know. We don't have time to watch that. All right. So now they're doing some things. Now are the police following them yet? At some point, like as soon as they get into the hood, that's when the police close ranks. And all of a sudden it's like a whole bunch of dudes on Chips motorcycles. Oh, this might be where we are. Pull the camera back so we can see police cars. Nope, those are all still motorcycle. Those are all dirt bikers. Dirt bikers. Where's the cops? Dirt bikers, dirt bikers. Oh, by the way, this is all right now. They're in front of like SoFi Stadium where the football teams play. And the forum is also right around the corner. Okay, there we go. There's a cop. Finally, we see a cop. Heck, maybe they might need gas again. Good thing that cop is around. Let's keep seeing here. Oh, look at them. There they go. They need gas. Are they going to taunt the cop by trying to get gas again? No. Keep moving. All right. I don't know why it went black. What the heck? Why'd it go black? No. Come on. Take me back to the... What are they doing? Commercial break. You can't go to a commercial break in the middle of that.
Or... driver related, so to speak. DC Fire confirming this was a 2-vehicle collision. One of the vehicles ended up in the Potomac. Divers coming on scene momentarily. So this is...
All right, let's go to here. All right, what is this now? All right, so now it's dark.
Yeah, the one with the ATV.
Oh, look. Oh, now we got some play-by-play from the... Okay, I like this. All right, here we go. Let's watch a little bit here. All right, so they're still together.
Hawks when it comes to he going looking early. My and since he died, find a new owner.
You know what I think happened? I think they lost him. I do. I remember that now because I actually went out and walked the dog. They lost him. I'm like, how did you lose them? Like they went under like bridge overpasses, and some of them like started climbing uphill. It was weird. Anyway, I went and walked the dog. We came back. They were doing this, and then this.
But the fact that they haven't
here we go.
Really should just validate. No, this was through last year. See if that's
There we go. All right. I think this one now we got play-by-play from the pilot, maybe. Authorities tracking multiple motorcycles in Southern California. Look at their driving. They're doing that drive. They're like as reckless as Al Cowlings was. Everybody's out there like, we know these guys. These guys is awesome. Wing, ding, 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 wing, ding, wing, ding, ding. This is crazy. At this point, it's been going on for, well over an hour. This is absurd. Okay. Come on, give me some play-by-play, dude. He's not saying anything. All right, so how does this end? So
bridge.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. This is how it ends. All right, so all of the other dudes slowly, one by one, like there was like 30 of them out there on dirt bikes. One by one, they started disappearing, but the cameras were staying on the original two, which is probably smart. So now we're back down. I think one of the original two got lost. They're like, what happened? But they got one guy left who they think is one of the original two. So let's see how this handles. All right. There's a dude on an ATV. He is not one of the original two. See, this is what they're doing. They go under these overpasses where the helicopters can't see them. They don't come out the other side.
They stopped underneath.
This is how everybody I've ever seen beat the helicopter on one of these.
They stopped. So they split up and they just stopped underneath, it looks like. Unless they're getting on the freeway.
I mean, they can wait out the helicopter. The helicopter will just...
The original two were with a guy on an ATV. They went underneath the bridge here, and I think they're stopped underneath the bridge.
They know the helicopter can't wait up there. And the cops are obviously not anywhere near them. All right, so here we go. We're zooming in. It's getting very dramatic because we got to get something for our effort. We got to catch one of these guys. We can't go home.
Oh, dang it.
Yeah, dang it. Dang it is right. There was like 40 dudes on dirt bikes. Y'all ain't going to write one ticket?
7 says he has them.
Ooh.
Oh.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's over. They won. You can't beat the natives. They live there. They know how to. Come on, man. They know the overpasses. They know where to hide. They know which way they can slip out.
Yeah, dang it. That was tricky there. They might have.
Oh, but don't give up. Don't ever give up. You never know. Criminals are stupid. Although I don't think these are criminals. I think these are kids. These are dumb kids exploiting the situation. Situation being, of course, there are very few cops available because of, fires and stuff happening in Southern California. All right, what do we got here? We're looking at these. What's going on? We're going to go running. Look at that. See down there? Oh, they're playing soccer. All right. Never mind. Hey, those minority kids are running. Let's get. Oh, soccer? Oh, they're playing soccer.
Well, I think we lost them.
Yeah,
the other group over here.
Hold on. Don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
Hard to see. They have no lights. Sorry, guys. I didn't see them come out of that bridge, but the on-ramp there at Hoover is really weird. They might have been able to slip on the freeway, but looking on, and of course, they have no lights either, so we don't see them.
Look at that. Look at that mess of concrete camouflage. Please go under there. Just go under there. You can go right, you can go left, you can come out 5 blocks away. No one will see you. Although, and I don't know, maybe this one of them, is that going to be it? Are we done? Are we done with that? Did they give up? Because we did see one of them escape. The way one of them escaped was underneath one of those bridges. They must have left their dirt bike there, but they got on a bus. They got on a city bus. There's a bus stop under there. So they got out, they dropped their bike, they sat at the bus stop, and the helicopter was hovering. It showed them sitting there at the bus stop. I have no idea what happened there. I'm going to look into that, see if they ever caught anybody. But the first guy, he sat at the bus stop, and the helicopter's like, well, there he is. He's at the bus stop. And then the bus pulls up, and you can see it through the cracks. Like, you can barely see him. Gets on the bus pulls out from under, the highway overpass system, goes 1/2 block down at the very first stop. Door opens up, dude gets out, walks into a 7-Eleven, comes out with some food, and at that point, they ended. They're like, oh, there he is. I guess nobody's going to arrest him. Alrighty then. The craziest thing. Did you see how many of them? I mean, we're talking about 50? Pugs, you keep making a bigger number every time you say it. That was easily 2,000 kids on dirt bikes. That was fun. California needed that. Good for them. All right, folks, thank you so much for joining me on this Friday. I want you to have yourself a great weekend. Oh, you know what? I think, oh, yeah, that's right. One more time, just a reminder, drop a little something. Bartender, pizza guy, tip me like, I did something nice for you. Drop something in the Venmo or the Cash App. That's how this show runs itself. I got some suggestions for you. A couple of things going into the weekend. It's going to be, I don't know if it's going to be cold. I don't think it's cold. Yesterday was like one of the most beautiful days. Yesterday was like 65, 70. It was crisp, but no wind, no clouds. Walking the dog last night, it was just gorgeous. Not a cloud in the sky. Every star was just popping. So I don't know what this weekend is going to be. This weekend might be nice. I don't know. But if you were looking for something to watch, okay, I got a couple of suggestions for you. As always, number one on the list, the biggest suggestion that I have for you is The Substance, the movie The Substance. The Substance, Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley, Dennis Quaid, and a new starlet. Third person that I will not mention. It's the story of three divas. And when we get to meet the third diva in the third act of the film, you'll never forget it. I said this to somebody. They just, so you really liked it? And I said, look, I'll tell you, I could make the perfect movie if you just give me the first 20 minutes of Saving Private Ryan and the last 20 minutes of The Substance. Doesn't matter what you put in the middle. That opening, greatest opening ever. The end of The Substance might be the greatest end to a film I've ever seen. Craziest. That's for damn sure. Craziest end to a film. What else do I have to suggest? So American Primeval, this new Netflix show that was posted last week, American Primeval. Taylor Kish. Riggins from Friday Night Lights, Taylor Kish. He stars in it as like I don't know. I've only seen one episode. It's the story of the Utah Wars. If you're familiar at all with the Utah Wars, it's the Utah Wars, 1857. Well, I know that because I'm acting smart. I'm like, the Utah Wars. It's not like I just watched something where the very first scene was the Utah Wars, 1857. Okay, so that's how I know. I don't expect you to do it. But I do know about, the standoffs between the Mormons and the United States government and the settlers and the Indians. It's a fascinating story. And that's what American Primeval is. It's the story of that part. And I don't love Westerns. I love the romance of America's Western past. And I think that there are examples of when that has been taken and art has been made. The Magnificent Seven's incredible. I mean, there are things that are an example. I hate most John Wayne movies. I find them to be horribly redundant. They're all just a version of another cowboy movie. Every now and again, there is a true story. There's a true Western that is just mind-blowing, right? Deadwood, the television series on HBO, is just incredibly mind-blowing. That is a Western unlike any other Western. So when somebody said to me, did you like The Remnant? Remember Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy? I'm like, yeah, that was a great movie. And they're like, okay, so the guy who did that is doing this. I'm like, okay, so that's got a pedigree now. Now I'm interested. It's got Riggins from Friday Night Lights playing some Indian half-breed. Maybe he's a white man. I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet. He looks like an Indian. He's interesting. Betty Gilpin. We got some Betty Gilpin. You guys watch Glow? You guys ever seen Glow? Betty Gilpin. She's pretty great. It's a good cast. It's got a pedigree as far as its writers and its creators go. And my friend said to me, he goes, if you liked Deadwood, it's more of that. This ain't a Western where everybody's clean shaven, right? That's a problem that I had with the way Westerns were for a lot of time. These Western TV shows, it's like they all got perfect teeth, and people in the old West were dirty as hell, man. They were gross. They had rotten teeth, and they all had BO, and it was gross. That's what Deadwood did. Deadwood showed us exactly what it was really like. In American Primeval, I'm 1.5 episodes in. It is a 6-episode miniseries on Netflix. Check that out. It's pretty good. There you go. American Primeval and the Substance. Those would be my suggestions for you. A lot of football this weekend. Monday, I may not do a show. I don't know. I think we'll probably do a show on Monday. I may not do a show on Monday. Probably do a show on Monday. I could totally see me not doing a show on Monday. We'll do a show on Monday. Monday's the national championship game, and I just don't know. It feels like it could be one of those days where I just wake up and just stay in bed and stare at the ceiling until kickoff. It's just, I have those days with my sports teams where it's just like, this shouldn't mean this much to me, and I really need to prepare my psyche so that this doesn't fuck me up for the next 72 hours when inevitably my team gets blown out on national TV by 40 points, and all of my friends who are Notre Dame haters once again get to say, you guys don't belong. All right. Notre Dame made it to another championship game and then just got blown out by 40. And to Ohio State? Oh, at 2, Big Ten. At 2. I expect this from the SEC. But Big Ten, you know that if Notre Dame couldn't make all that bank staying independent, they would totally be a Big Ten team. They're in the middle of Big Ten country. At 2, Big Ten. Is that what's going to happen? All right, so I know there's a lot of like professional football games happening this weekend, but none of them concern my team. So I'll enjoy the games. Here's something interesting. So I got 2 coaches who I am interested in, 2 coaches who are being rumored to be top considerates of the Chicago Bear organization. That's my team. Coaching against each other. We got. I'm going to be paying extra close attention to the Bills Ravens as Bills offensive coordinator Brady. And is it Monken? Is it the Ravens OC Monken? So I got to watch these 2 guys. Either one of these guys could be my next head coach. Apparently they're in love with him. More so. Apparently Brady of the Bills and Monken from the Ravens have more heat in and around Hallis Hall, which is where the Bears headquarters is, than Ben Johnson, which I'm okay with. I think I'm more interested. Honestly, I think I'd rather have Aaron Glenn than Ben Johnson. I don't know, man. I'm just tired of these hotshot offensive superstars. It's can't miss genius. All right, I'm still waiting for the can't miss genius of Kyle Shanahan to win himself a Super Bowl. But okay, he was a can't miss genius. McVay got his, so that's good. Is that it, guys? Are we done? I guess we're done, right? All right, once again, tip the show if you can. That'd be great. Love you guys. If not, we'll see you back here on Monday. I'll do a show Monday. You know, even if it's just me doing a show where I just do nothing for 2 hours except and lament the freight train of disappointment that is Ohio State just coming at me in my little Notre Dame outfit, just coming at me. And they're like, get off the tracks, you stupid Irish fool. And I'm like, no. So maybe that'll just be the show on Monday. I care too much about football. All right, love you guys. Have a great one. Be well.